Chapter 1158. He seemed to have felt everyone's gaze. Leng Qianhen's hand that was holding the wine cup paused for a moment. He said indifferently, "I have no interest in joining any dynasty." Leng Qianhen's words shut everyone's mouths. "Ah, Leng Qianhen, you're still the same." Proud Divine Continent shook his head and laughed. He had invited Leng Qianhen before, but Leng Qianhen ignored him. He didn't expect that Leng Qianhen's personality hadn't changed. However, seeing that Leng Qianhen had no interest in joining the Sword Dynasty, some of the false saints present faintly showed disappointment and helplessness. At this time Yiguchen said, "Brother Leng, can you listen to me?" "Hm?" Hearing Yiguchen's address, some of the new false saints present were surprised and frowned slightly. Leng Qianhen was now a heavenly tribulation saint, and his status was extraordinary. Even if Yiguchen was the Sword Dynasty's Jiankui, he probably didn't have the qualifications to call Leng Qianhen Brother Leng. In their view, Yiguchen's address was too unreasonable and rash. However, what surprised those false saints was that Leng Qianhen's face didn't show the slightest displeasure. Instead, he said indifferently, "What do you want to say?" Those false saints' eyes were filled with astonishment. Just now, even when facing Proud Divine Continent, Leng Qianhen had an indifferent look. But his attitude towards Yiguchen was so gentle. Letting Brother Leng join the Sword Dynasty isn't to restrict your freedom. You can be as unrestrained as before, just in name, and when the Sword Dynasty needs help, you can help a little. In addition, everyone has seen the strength of Alliance Leader Proud Divine Continent. Brother Leng, if you can exchange pointers with Senior Proud Divine Continent, I'm sure you'll improve a lot. Yiguchen said slowly. He was just giving a suggestion, not a request. Leng Qianhen's expression changed slightly. The fact that he could become a heavenly tribulation saint was not entirely due to Yiguchen, but at least part of the reason was because of him. Coupled with the reason Yiguchen gave, it did make sense. After giving it some thought, Leng Qianhen nodded slightly for Yiguchen's sake. Sure. Hearing Leng Qianhen agree, many people in the hall were a little surprised. They did not expect Yiguchen to have the ability to influence Leng Qianhen's decision. The Proud Divine Continent shook his head and mocked, the Proud Divine Continent, have less face than a junior." After confirming that Leng Qianhen had joined the Sword Dao Alliance, many people were relieved. After the banquet, everyone prepared to leave. "Jinkui, please stay," Proud Divine Continent said calmly. Yiguchen stayed. When there was no one around, he asked, "Senior, what's the matter? The news of your Divine Dwelling's reconstruction hasn't been spread, right?" Proud Divine Continent asked. "No," Yiguchen said. He would not be so bored as to announce his reconstruction of the flawless Divine Dwellings because there was no need for that. Moreover, Yiguchen was not a person who cared so much about reputation. That's good. In this way, you will have the upper hand in the Heaven's chosen battlefield. "This is your opportunity," Proud Divine Continent said. At the mention of the Heaven's chosen battlefield, Yiguchen's face became a lot more solemn. Since the Saint Origin Dynasty, the Heaven's chosen battlefield had been prepared. Now more than a year had passed, and the day of the Heaven's chosen battlefield was getting closer and closer. However, what Yiguchen did not understand was what kind of existence the Heaven's chosen battlefield was. Was it just set up by the Overlord forces to select disciples? "Senior, may I ask what kind of existence the Heaven's chosen battlefield is?" Yiguchen asked. Proud Divine Continent said, "The Heaven's chosen battlefield is indeed a grand event for the Overlord forces to select disciples. At the same time, the Heaven's prides of those forces will also participate because they need to seek opportunities." "Seek opportunities?" Yiguchen raised his eyebrows and listened carefully. "This opportunity is the opportunity to become a venerable of the Heavenly Palace," Proud Divine Continent said. "A venerable of the Heavenly Palace." Yiguchen's eyes narrowed. A venerable of the Heavenly Palace in the South Horizon region, although not as high and mighty as a saint of the Heavenly Tribulation, was still an expert who could walk freely in the South Horizon region. Now Yiguchen's cultivation was only at the second layer of the Divine Dwelling, which seemed to be a distance away from the venerable of the Heavenly Palace. But Yi Guqin's divine dwellings could continue to transform, and after each transformation, his strength would skyrocket. For example, this transformation, Yi Guqin directly jumped to the second layer of the divine dwelling. If the next 3 transformations were successful, Yi Guqin may reach the 7th layer, or even the 8th layer. In that way, he would be very close to the venerable of the heavenly palace. Proud divine continent continued. To participate in the heaven's chosen battlefield, you have to go to the Saint Emperor world in the future. Saint Emperor world? Yi Guqin looked puzzled. What can you think of when you hear this name? Proud divine continent asked. Saint Emperor world. Is it related to the immortal Saint Emperor? Yi Guqin's eyes flashed. Proud divine continent had told him the division of the heavenly tribulation realm before. Heavenly tribulation saint, domain saint king, immortal Saint Emperor. The name of the Saint Emperor world seemed to be related to the immortal Saint Emperor. Yes, what I can tell you now is that the Saint Emperor world is the small world in the immortal Saint Emperor's body, Proud divine continent said. This sentence surprised Yi Guqin. A small world could be formed in a person's body. How powerful was the immortal Saint Emperor? And I can also tell you that the Venerable's opportunity is not the biggest opportunity in the Saint Emperor world, Proud divine continent said with a smile. What, even the Venerable's opportunity is not the most precious? Yi Guqin was really surprised this time. What kind of existence was the Saint Emperor world? Even the Venerable's opportunity was not the most rare. At this time, Yi Guqin also understood why all the younger generation in the South Horizon region were rushing to the battlefield of geniuses. Putting other things aside, just the Venerable's opportunity was enough to attract countless geniuses to participate. It could be seen that this time, the battlefield of geniuses would produce a fierce confrontation. I'll tell you so much now. The specific details will be explained to you when the battlefield of geniuses is about to open. The reason why I'm telling you some things now is that I hope you can be prepared. Proud divine continent said earnestly. Senior, don't worry, I will definitely not weaken the reputation of the Sword Dynasty. Yi Guqin said. If Yi Guqin could stand out in the battlefield of geniuses and be chosen by an overlord-level force, the Sword Dynasty would also gain a lot of benefits. Well, it's good that you are confident. You have enough time to cultivate. As for cultivation resources, as long as the Sword Dynasty has it, you can use it. Proud divine continent said. He was also looking forward to Yi Guqin shining in the battlefield of geniuses as Jiankui and making a name for himself. I will not let you down. Yi Guqin cupped his hands. In fact, even if Proud divine continent did not remind him, Yi Guqin would not let go of this opportunity. After all, this was his only chance to show the name Yi Guqin to the world again. At that time, he would not have to hide his identity. Everyone would know. He was not only the Jiankui and Duguobai of the Sword Dynasty. He was also the one who fought Gu Xiaoyang and seriously injured Di Haoyan, Sword Sect, Yi Guqin. Chapter 1159. In the following days, the Sword Dynasty ushered in a rare period of peace. Without the conflict between the aristocratic families and the unaffiliated cultivators, the entire Sword Dynasty seemed incomparably harmonious. Yi Guqin also left the Sword Emperor city and came to the Sword Tomb to begin his closed-door training. He was going to start preparing for the battlefield of prodigies. Yi Guqin was now at the second firmament of the divine dwelling realm, and with a flawless divine dwelling, he was not weak. But it was not enough. Yi Guqin did not believe that after such a long time, Di Haoyan, Huang Qianqiu, Gu Xiaoyang, and the others would not have made any progress. In addition, the battlefield of prodigies was the grand gathering of the entire Nantian region. Among them, there was no lack of 1 emperor, 4 emperors, 10 young masters, the Dragon Phoenix list, and other powerful existences. One could imagine how fierce the competition would be. Therefore, Yi Guqin did not dare to slack off for a moment. In the center of the Sword Tomb, Yi Guqin sat cross-legged. The battlefield of prodigies is a gathering of heroes. Although I am not weak, I am still far from being able to suppress all the prodigies. Next, I still need to comprehend the Baji reincarnation sword art, ultimate sword domain, sacred sword of Qiankuan, and other supreme techniques. In addition, there is also my clone Duguchima. If he can break through to the divine dwelling realm in the Azura Blood Road and condense a flawless divine dwelling, then my advantage will be much greater. Yiguchen muttered to himself. He looked into the distance in the direction of the Mola dynasty. He was looking forward to Duguchima's growth. In that case, Yiguchen would undoubtedly have a powerful helper on the battlefield of prodigies. He was looking forward to joining forces with Duguchima and even merging into one to fight Di Haotian. That scene made Yiguchen's blood boil with excitement. Subsequently, Yiguchen immersed himself in cultivation. Mola Dynasty, Heavenly Demon Sect, inside a cave. Duguchima, dressed in a black robe and white hair, sat cross-legged on the ground. Beside him was a large pile of empty jade bottles. The Azura blood inside had all been refined by Duguchima. His body could effortlessly absorb a massive amount of Azura blood. In comparison, even if other people could use the Azura blood to cultivate, they would only dare to refine a small bottle at a time. They absolutely wouldn't be as crazy as Dugu. Rumble. It was as if a clap of thunder was heard from Duguchima's body, as a powerful aura burst out from him. Then, Duguchiomo slowly opened his eyes. His left eye was pitch black and deep, while his right eye was an ancient and mysterious dark golden demonic eye. Peak of the 9th level of the spirit bridge of heaven and earth. Dugu mumbled to himself. During this time, he had completely refined 1,000 bottles of Azura blood into his body. This terrifying power was already enough for Duguchima to break through to the divine dwelling stage. However, he forcibly suppressed his own realm and maintained it at the peak of the 9th stage of the spirit bridge of heaven and earth. At the same time, he used the remaining Azura blood to temper his battle god demon body. Duguchima's battle god demon body had reached the 2nd stage, and his physical body had become even stronger. Not only that, Duguchima could vaguely feel that if he broke through to the divine dwelling stage, his soul-devouring demonic eye would unlock a new ability. Soul Demonic Seed. As the name implied, it was to plant a demonic seed in the enemy's consciousness and soul, and then enslave and control them. It was easy to imagine how powerful this ability was. Therefore, Duguchima was also looking forward to breaking through to the divine dwelling stage. The soul-devouring demonic eye of the soul-devouring clan is really useful. I must obtain the ability of the soul demonic seed. Therefore, I also need to break through to the divine dwelling stage in the Azura Blood Road. Moreover, my original body has already reconstructed the divine dwelling and reached the 2nd layer of the divine dwelling stage. I can't be a burden. Duguchima's eyes flashed with determination. At this moment, outside the cave dwelling, a heavenly demon sect disciple bowed and shouted, "Your Highness, the Azura Blood Road is about to open." The Supreme Elder said we can prepare to set off. I know, Duguchima said indifferently. In fact, it was reasonable to say that Qingqing should be the one to remind him. But since that night, Qingqing had never come to Duguchima again, let alone see Duguchima. Ah, is it because of what I said? Duguchima stood up and shook his head with a sneer. He had previously said that Qingqing should not have excessive feelings for him. It was most likely because of this that Qingqing had become dejected and no longer came. That's good, it saves me the trouble. Duguchima walked out of the cave. He didn't mind at all, nor did he care. Let alone Duguchima, even Yiguchen's original body would not be affected by the feelings between men and women. At this moment, outside the heavenly demon sect, several bone warships were suspended in the void. Many heavenly demon sect disciples were already ready to set off. On the deck of one of the bone warships, a thin old man in a black robe stood indifferently. Demonic chi surged around him, and space was distorted. It was the heavenly demon sect's Grand Elder, Pei Tuesday. He was also the leader of the heavenly demon sect's team this time. Beside him stood several heavenly demon sect's venerables. TSKSK, I didn't expect the Sword Dynasty to come back from the jaws of death this time. Yeah, that proud divine continent strength is too strong. Fortunately, our heavenly demon sect didn't send anyone, or we would have been wiped out. I heard that the reason the battle was turned around was because of the Sword Dynasty's Jinkue and Duguubai. Fortunately, Thubai's divine palace was destroyed, or he would definitely be a great enemy of our Mola dynasty's geniuses. I wonder if that Dugubai versus our heavenly demon sect's holy son, Dugchuma, who would be stronger? I don't know, but did you notice that Dugubai and our heavenly demon sect's holy son, Dugchuma, have the same surname? It's just a coincidence. The heavenly demon sect's venerables chatted casually. On one side of the bone warship, Ching stood alone. She had a jade-like face, white teeth, and beautiful lips, but there was a touch of sadness and worry between her brows. She looked like a little resentful wife who had been abandoned. Don't you feel that Saintess Ching seems to have changed a little? Saintess Ching and Holy Son Dugu wouldn't have had something happen, right? Some of the more attentive heavenly demon sect disciples noticed Ching's situation and couldn't help feeling heartbroken. But now, in the heavenly demon sect, no one dared to talk about Dugu Chilma behind his back. At this moment, Dugu Chilma walked out of the mountain gate. Pei Tu laughed heartily when he saw this. Holy Son Dugu, our heavenly demon sect is relying on you for the Azura blood path. Although Ching's strength had also broken through to the second divine palace layer, Pei Tu obviously still placed all his hopes on Dugu Chilma. I will naturally do what I said, Dugu Chilma said indifferently. Since the heavenly demon sect had satisfied his request, he wouldn't burn the bridge after crossing the river. That's good, that's good. Pei Tu chuckled. Dugu Chilma stepped into the air and boarded the bone warship. Ching bit her lip and didn't say a word. She turned around as if to avoid Dugu Chilma's gaze. Dugu Chilma also didn't say anything. Pei Tu was taken aback when he saw this scene. There is no fairness on the Azura blood path, and there are many people who bully the weak with numbers. I hope you two can help each other. Pei Tu didn't want a conflict between the heavenly demon sect's holy son and saintess. Dugu Chilma nodded indifferently. Ching still didn't say a word, deliberately keeping a distance from Dugu Chilma. Chapter 1160. The opening of the Shura Bloody Road was a huge event in the Mola dynasty. Its influence was equivalent to the Sword Sun Battle of the Sword Dynasty. At that time, the royal family of the Mola dynasty and the 6 major forces would send their prodigies there. In addition to these prodigies, other rogue cultivators, demonic thieves, bandits, and other martial artists from all walks of life would also go. More importantly, their results in the Shura Bloody Road would also affect their ranking on the blood ranking. One could imagine how fierce the competition would be when the Shura Bloody Road opened. Coupled with the valiant folk customs of the Mola dynasty, there would definitely be a bloody and cruel competition. Just as Dugu was about to follow the Sky Demon Sect's team to the Shura Bloody Road, the other major forces and the royal family of the Mola dynasty all set off. Outside the royal palace of the Mola dynasty, a cold and elegant woman stood there indifferently. She didn't wear a dress, and only her important parts were covered with black armor, revealing her snow-white skin. Her gray hair fluttered in the wind. The mask covered half of her pretty face, revealing only her fiery red lips. Coupled with her pale and cold face, she looked cold and charming. This beautiful figure was Princess Luoho. At this moment, a charming and dignified middle-aged woman in a black dress stood beside Princess Luoho. She smiled faintly and said, "Ah Luo, this Shura Bloody Road will choose a suitable husband for you to be the prince consort of the Mola dynasty. This way, if the prodigy battlefield opens, you can take care of him." This beautiful woman was none other than Princess Luoho's birth mother, the demon queen of the Mola dynasty. She was also a top false saint expert. "Mother, may I ask how many men in this world are worthy of your daughter?" Princess Luoho's expression was still indifferent as she spoke coldly. She didn't think that she could choose a husband on the Shura Bloody Road. She also didn't think that any man in the Mola dynasty was worthy of her. Oh, not even Yi Tsongshan, who's ranked first on the blood ranking? The demon queen smiled faintly. "Mother, where did he come from?" Princess Luoho frowned. She was a little interested in Yi Tsongshan to be able to suppress her and become the first on the blood ranking. His origin is mysterious. He might be from that world. The demon queen said. "What? He has such an identity?" Princess Luoho's eyes dimmed. Are you tempted? Asked the infernal queen with a chuckle. Your daughter will personally defeat him, Princess Luo Ho said indifferently. By the way, there's actually another person on the Azura blood path that you should pay attention to. The Devil Empress said. Mother, are you saying that the new holy son of the heavenly devil sect slaughtered the white-haired sword demon of the 13 cities? Princess Luo Ho had an indifferent expression. Why? You don't fancy that person? Asked the infernal queen. The people he slaughtered were all nameless people. Even after he killed Yuan Huang and the others, they were nothing more than that, said Princess Luo Ho. Even Yi Tsongshan, who was ranked first on the blood ranking, could not move her completely. Not to mention Dugu Qiuma, who was only slightly famous. Hee, my daughter sure has good taste. The infernal queen chuckled. However, I'm quite interested in someone. Princess Luo Ho seemed to have thought of something and couldn't help but lick her red lips with her pink tongue. Oh, who is it? The infernal queen was really surprised this time. Her daughter had always been cold and bloodthirsty. She did not have much emotion. She was actually interested in someone else? That person with the heavenly calamity star destiny? Or that person who caused the demon emperor to descend to the 9 heavens? Said Princess Luo Ho. The infernal queen shook her head when she heard that. Daughter, you're thinking too far ahead. Such an unparalleled demon king might not be in the Molo dynasty. There are even rumors that the demon king is a demon Dao prodigy that the demon sect has been hiding. The Molo dynasty was not weak, but it was not on the same level as the demon sect of the 3 major sects. Princess Luo Ho shook her head when she heard that. She was just thinking about it. She did not think that the unparalleled demon king who caused the phenomenon would be in the Molo dynasty. Afterward, the infernal queen led Princess Luo Ho and the rest of the Molo dynasty's royal family to the Azura blood path. 2 figures stood on top of a mountain in the mystic demon palace's encampment. One of them was dressed in black and gold armor and a blood-red cloak. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and he exuded a cold and austere aura. He was the strongest heaven pride of the mystic demon palace, Yuan Hua, who ranked 3rd on the blood ranking. He was also Yuan Huang's brother. Beside Yuan Hua stood a strange young man in a blood-red robe. His long hair draped over his shoulders and covered one of his eyes. He was also a heaven pride of the mystic demon palace, Master Hun Demon, who ranked 4th on the blood ranking. He specialized in the Tao of the soul. Master Hun Demon had a strange smile on his face. Yuan Hua, how are you going to kill Dugu Qiuma? Yuan Hua's frosty face was devoid of any warmth when he heard this. Although my younger brother is trash, he is still my younger brother no matter what. Since Dugu Qiuma does not care about me, then I, Yuan Hua, will let him experience what it means to live a life worse than death. As Yuan Hua's voice faded, a powerful and biting cold chi erupted from his body. He had reached the 4th level of the divine dwelling realm. The same situation occurred in the demonic beast sect and the 6 desire demon sect. Whether it was Shan Yu of the demonic beast sect or Miao Yu of the 6 desire demon sect, they were determined to kill Dugu Qiuma with their own hands. It could be said that before the Azura blood road opened, Dugu Qiuma had already been targeted from all sides. In another boundary of the Mola dynasty, a woman in a black dress swept a glance over the corpses on the ground and shook her head. It's unwise to provoke one. Her face was covered with a black veil, and her eyes were as clear as water. She was tall and had amazing curves, like a peerless enchantress. One opened her hand. In her fair palm was a pitch-black bead that was faintly glowing. It was this bead that allowed one to find the Mola dynasty. According to the demonic bead's reminder, the person who caused the demon emperor to descend to the 9th heaven is undoubtedly in the Mola dynasty. The biggest thing in the Mola dynasty recently is the Azura blood road. Wan was extremely intelligent. Hundreds of thoughts spun in her mind, and her beautiful eyes flashed. Then she chuckled softly and her figure flashed in the direction of the Azura blood road. I must find the person who caused the demon emperor phenomenon. I can't let Yi Tsangyue and Gu Xiaoyang get the upper hand. At the same time, in another boundary, Yi Tsangyue and Gu Xiaoyang's figures streaked across the sky. Are you sure we can meet the person who caused the Demon Emperor phenomenon on the Azura Blood Road? Yi Songyue frowned, still somewhat worried. She had to stop which one or from finding the person who caused the Demon Emperor phenomenon. Fair Yi Songyue, don't worry. I can't say for sure, but there's an 80% to 90% chance that I'm right. When the time comes, we'll work together to kill the person who caused the Demon Emperor phenomenon, then suppress the witch, and finally seize the true opportunity on the Azura Blood Road. That way, there'll be no mistakes. Gu Xiaoyang thought deeply and smiled faintly. Yi Songyue nodded slightly when she heard this. With her and Gu Xiaoyang's strength, they didn't need to worry about anyone other than the witch. They didn't take the prodigies of the Mola dynasty seriously. Chapter 1161. Just as the entire Molo dynasty was in an uproar because of the Azura Bloody Road. In an unknown small city, the thick smell of blood filled the air. Tens of thousands of creatures in the city had all died. Corpses were piled up like mountains and blood flowed like rivers. In this hellish scene, a handsome young man in black clothes and black hair sat on a pile of corpses. He was wiping the blood-stained sword in his hand with a white cloth. His appearance was outstanding. His skin was white, and he was very handsome. What was special about him was his eyes. They were black without any white, like 2 obsidian stones. My 6 blasphemy sword formation has finally been refined. The young man smiled faintly. In order to refine the 6 blasphemy sword formation, he had slaughtered 6 cities. It could be said that other than Duguqiama, he was the only ruthless person who had slaughtered so many cities. The handsome young man with black eyes was the mysterious number 1 on the blood ranking, Yi Tongshan. Sir, it's time for the Azura Bloody Road to open. At this moment, a pale old man slowly descended from the sky and cupped his hands respectfully to the young man. The old man's cultivation had reached the false saint realm. A false saint cupped his hands to Yi Tongshan. Yi Tongshan's origin was mysterious. Oh, is that so? The opportunity is finally here. Hearing this, Yi Tongshan's black eyes glowed. But sir, is the record true? Is that person's inheritance really in the deepest part of the Azura Bloody Road? The old man asked. It can't be wrong. As long as I get that person's inheritance, I'll be able to defeat everyone in the battlefield of geniuses. Other than Di Haoyan and a few other geniuses, I won't be afraid of anyone else. Yi Tongshan's eyes flashed with battle intent. Hearing this, the old man nodded slightly. Then he took out a flying boat. The 2 of them rowed the boat and headed toward the Azura Bloody Road. The Blood Demon Valley was a special place in the Molo dynasty. It was the entrance to the Azura Bloody Road. The Azura Bloody Road opened once a year. The Azura blood that was passed down among the cultivators of the Molo dynasty came from the Azura Bloody Road. It could be said that the Azura blood was the lifeblood of the Moro dynasty's martial artists. This was also why the Heavenly Devil sect would satisfy all of Duga's requests and recruit him. The Heavenly Demon sect had already ranked last 4 times. If they ranked last again this time, then they would lose the qualifications to participate in the Azura Blood Road. This was undoubtedly a fatal blow to the Heavenly Demon sect. As time passed, large batches of cultivators gathered outside the Blood Demon stream. Aside from the Mo Luo royal family and the 6 major powers, many itinerant cultivators would also come here to try their luck. But because of the special pressure within the Azura Blood Road, as well as the restrictions imposed by the royal family and the 6 great forces, no one above the divine dwelling stage was allowed to enter. However, even with such restrictions, there were still many people who came to participate. After all, the Mola dynasty had no lack of desperados. If he could make a great fortune in the Azura Blood Road, then he wouldn't have to worry about not having enough Azura blood to cultivate for the next several years. Gradually, the number of martial artists outside the Blood Demon stream increased from a few thousand to over 10,000, and then to 50,000. The number was still increasing. At this moment, various forces began to arrive. The Black Voodoo cult, the 6 Desire Demon sect, the Demonic Beast sect, and the Blood Cloth Tower. The arrival of each force would cause a wave of exclamations. After all, the Azura Blood Road was the stage for these forces' prodigies. The other martial artists were just there to serve as a foil. On the Six Desire Demon Sect's ship, a woman swept her gaze and said indifferently, "The Heavenly Demon Sect hasn't arrived yet?" This woman was extremely strange. She was bald and dressed in a monk's robe, like a nun. However, her face was extremely seductive. Her red lips, white teeth, and milky white skin gave her a special allure. This woman was the prodigy of the Six Desire Demon Sect, ranked 8th on the blood ranking, Miao Yu. Although she was dressed like a nun, she had absorbed the essence of many men and turned them into dried corpses. In another direction, a gray-robed youth laughed and said, "Ah, Miao Yu, you can't hold back anymore?" He was Shan Yu of the Demonic Beast Sect, ranked 9th on the blood ranking. Miao Yu heard that Dugu's demonic appearance is devilishly handsome and his body is strong. "I really can't hold back. His body's essence must be very vigorous." Miao Yu stuck out the tip of her tongue and licked her red lips, adding a bit of seductiveness to her. Looking at Miao Yu's appearance, Shan Yu trembled slightly. This Miao Yu was definitely a femme fatale. At this moment, another two forces arrived in the distant sky. They were the Mara royal family and the Mystic Demon Palace. On the Mara royal family's side, the Demon Queen and Princess Luo Ho stood at the bow of the ship. The mother and daughter were both cold and beautiful. However, no martial artist dared to look at them directly. The Demon Queen was the wife of the Mara Lord. Naturally, no one dared to look at her directly. Princess Luo Ho wore revealing clothes and was incomparably cold and beautiful. However, no one dared to look at her. This was because there was once a rumor that a prodigy stared at Princess Luo Ho with a burning gaze. His eyes were directly dug out by Princess Luo Ho's fingers, and his cultivation was crippled. Princess Luo Ho's ruthless methods had spread throughout the Mara dynasty. On the Mystic Demon Palace's side, Yuan Hua and Master Hun Demon attracted a lot of attention. As the third and fourth existences on the blood ranking, Yuan Hua and Master Hun Demon could almost do whatever they wanted in the Azura Blood Road if they worked together. As long as they didn't encounter Princess Luo Ho and the other person. Just as everyone was thinking that the mysterious number 1 on the blood ranking was still here. A flying boat came across the sky from afar. Unlike the mighty momentum of the other forces, there were only 2 people standing on this flying boat. It was Yi Tsongshen and the old man. The number 1 on the blood ranking, Yi Tsongshen, is here. Everyone's attention was focused on the handsome young man with black eyes standing on the flying boat. As the number 1 on the blood ranking, there had never been a prodigy who could truly force Yi Tsongshen to use his full strength. The old man beside Yi Tsongshen was also a powerful false saint expert. Without the protection of this false saint expert, Yi Tsongshen wouldn't be a match for the older generation no matter how strong he was. Seeing Yi Tsongshen's arrival, the Demon Queen couldn't help but smile. "Yi Tsongshen, are you interested in being the Mara dynasty's son-in-law?" What? Hearing this, the whole place was in an uproar. Many male warriors were unwilling to accept this. The Mara dynasty had the intention to recruit Yi Tsongshen as the son-in-law? I don't mind. It depends on whether the princess is willing or not. Yi Tsongshen chuckled. His status was more than enough for Princess Luo Ho. It could even be said that the Mara dynasty had benefited from it. "Yi Tsongshen, beat me first," Princess Luo Ho said indifferently. She was indifferent, so it was difficult for her to fall in love with other men. She was only slightly interested in Yi Tsongshen because of his status and background. It should be difficult for me to find an opponent on the Shura Bloody Road. Yi Tsongshen smiled indifferently. It wasn't arrogance, but confidence brought about by his strength. Time gradually passed. The bloody light in the Blood Demon Valley illuminated the sky. The Shura Bloody Road was about to open. What's wrong with the Sky Demon Sect? Don't tell me they don't dare to come? It's possible. But if they don't come, they'll still be at the bottom and lose their chance. That's not necessarily true. I heard that the white-haired sword demon who massacred 13 cities joined the Sky Demon Sect and became the saint. What do you mean by massacring 13 cities? He only massacred some mediocre warriors. Because the Sky Demon Sect hadn't arrived yet, it caused a lot of discussion. Chapter 1162. Regarding Duguqima, the martial artists of the Moro Empire had different opinions. Some believed that Duguqima was truly strong, otherwise it would have been impossible for him to kill Yuan Huang and the others. But there were also people who believed that Duguqima's reputation was greater than his strength. But no matter how everyone discussed, the best way to witness one's strength was naturally on the Azura Blood Road. Therefore, everyone was looking forward to seeing how the white-haired sword demon, who had slaughtered 13 cities, would perform on the Azura Blood Road. Just as everyone was discussing noisily, the team of the Heavenly Demon sect finally arrived. Everyone's gaze immediately fell on the bow of the Heavenly Demon sect's ship, and the figure standing in the wind. Duguqima was dressed in a black robe, his figure slender and straight, and his long white hair added a bit of desolation to him. On his handsome and charming face, the dark golden demon eye was mysterious and deep. Anyone who glanced at it would feel their heart palpitate slightly. Is that the white-haired sword demon who had slaughtered 13 cities? He does look like that, but isn't his cultivation level a bit too low? Yes, he hasn't even reached the divine dwelling stage, and is only at the 9th level of the Heaven and Earth Spirit Bridge. How did he defeat Yuan Huang and the others? It had to be said that Duguqima's appearance and temperament were indeed in line with everyone's imagination of the white-haired sword demon. But his cultivation level made everyone feel like their glasses were about to pop out. Not to mention the 3rd or 4th level of the divine dwelling stage. At the very least, he had to break through to the divine dwelling stage. But everyone could feel that Duguqima's cultivation level was only at the 9th level of the Heaven and Earth Spirit Bridge. This cultivation level was indeed too low for the Heaven Prides ranked at the top of the blood ranking. TSK, is that Duguqima? He is indeed as cold and charming as the rumors say. He suits my taste. Miao Yu's eyes were watery. Her eyes were also watery. She was already thinking about how to squeeze Duguqima dry. As for Shan Yu, there was a hidden coldness in his eyes. Although he and the dead Zonglai of the demonic beast sect were only in the same sect. But no matter what, Duguqima had slapped the demonic beast sect in the face. Shan Yu naturally wanted revenge. Of course, the one who wanted to kill Dugu the most was naturally Yuan Hua from Mystic Demon Palace. As soon as Duguqima appeared, Yuan Hua's killing intent spread out uncontrollably, causing the surrounding space to freeze. What a strong killing intent. It's Yuan Hua. Tisk, Duguqima is going to be in big trouble in the Azura Blood Road. Sensing Yuan Hua's piercingly cold killing intent, everyone present felt a chill in their hearts. Yuan Hua, who was ranked 3rd on the blood ranking, was definitely not someone to be trifled with. Duguqima glanced at Yuan Hua indifferently. His expression was as indifferent as ever, as if he didn't feel Yuan Hua's killing intent. You do have some guts. Yuan Hua spoke, his killing intent like water. I merely helped your Mystic Demon Palace get rid of some trash, Duguqima said calmly. Yuan Hua was about to attack but was stopped by Master Hun Mo. Once we enter the Azura Blood Road, there will be plenty of opportunities to deal with him, said Master Hun Demon. And I, Shan Yu, will also seek justice for Zonglai, said Shan Yu. I, Miao Yu, will also take action. Miao Yu smiled charmingly, staring at Duguqima with blazing eyes. Seeing that the Sky Prides of the 3 major forces were jointly targeting Duguqima, many people present couldn't help but look at him with some pity. Pei Tu's face also darkened. Duguqima's strength was not weak. But a fierce tiger could not fight against a pack of wolves. When the time came, he might really be surrounded and killed by a group of Sky Prides. As for Qing on the other side, although she kept a distance from Duguqima, there was a trace of worry in her eyes, but she didn't show it. At this moment, Duguqima suddenly noticed the Mara royal family. His gaze fell on Princess Luoxia. When the Heavenly Demon sect arrived, the Demon Queen also took a look at Duguqima, but she instantly withdrew her gaze and lost interest. She originally thought that perhaps Duguqima also had a chance to compete for the position of the Emperor's son-in-law. But Duguqima's cultivation, which was not even at the divine dwelling stage, had already made the Demon Queen completely lose interest in him. Such a person was not worthy of her daughter. What are you looking at? Princess Luoxie couldn't help scrunching her brows when she saw Duguchioma's gaze fall on her body. No one had ever dared to look at her body so carefully. The people around also looked at Duguchioma in surprise. Didn't he know that no one was allowed to look directly at Princess Luoxie's body? However, Duguchioma's next words stunned everyone present, and their jaws almost fell to the ground. Although she's not particularly outstanding, she's barely qualified to be my woman. Duguchioma's lips curved into a wicked smile. Dead silence. The tens of thousands of Mara Empire experts present held their breaths. What did they just hear? Princess Luoxie was barely qualified to be his woman? The demon queen raised her brows. Princess Luoxie also erupted with murderous intent, her ash-gray hair fluttering in the wind like a female azura. Even the corner of Pei Tu's eyes twitched, and his face twitched. This boy, how dare he say such words? Is he tired of living? Pei Tu felt bitter inside. Duguchioma had many enemies now, including Yuan Hua, Han Mozi, Miao Yu, and Shan Yu. None of them were easy to deal with. But now, he even dared to provoke Princess Luoxie, who was ranked second on the blood ranking. Qingqing bit her lips when she heard this, and a sour and jealous feeling that she had never felt before spread out in her heart. Princess Luoxie's icy gaze under the mask turned to Duguchioma. She was not the kind of woman who only cared about appearance. Only a truly talented and capable man could conquer her. Who do you think you are, a heavenly fiend fate holder? Or a demon emperor phenomenon holder? If you're not, then what qualifications do you have to say such words? Princess Luoxie's tone was icy cold. It was the first time someone had teased her in such a tone. Duguchioma sneered and did not answer. Sorry, he was both a heavenly fiend fate holder and a demon emperor phenomenon holder. However, Duguchioma did not say it out loud, as it was not a good time to expose himself. The reason why Duguchioma said this was not because of Princess Luoxie herself. It was because he could feel that Princess Luoxie's Luoxie fate holder could help him activate the heavenly fiend fate holder. Although Duguchioma had the heavenly fiend fate holder, it did not mean that he could use it. For example, Guzun could only unleash his full power after unsealing the 7-kill fate holder. Duguchioma had a feeling that his heavenly fiend fate holder could be activated with the help of the Luoxie fate holder. At that time, Duguchioma would naturally have another trump card. Looking at Duguchioma, who was targeted by many blood-ranking elites, all the warriors felt that the white-haired sword demon was probably going to die in the Azura Blood Road. Yi Zongxin also glanced at Duguchioma. He vaguely felt that Duguchioma seemed to be hiding something, but he could not find anything when he looked carefully. Interesting, but no one can stop me in the Azura Blood Road, Yi Zongxin muttered in his heart. Among the tens of thousands of warriors, there was a woman in a black dress with a cloak hiding her aura. It was which one? She looked at the sparkling demonic orb in her hand, and a look of surprise flashed across her beautiful eyes. Impossible. Could it be him? This demonic bead could sense the movement of a demon emperor phenomenon holder. Just now, when Duguchioma arrived, this demonic bead had lit up with a resplendent light. What surprised the witch was that if Duguchioma was really a demon emperor phenomenon holder, why was his strength so low? Forget it. When I enter the Azura Blood Road, I will find a way to contact this person. I will understand then. The witch bit her lip. She also understood that Yi Zongyue and Gu Xiaoyang were very likely hiding in the crowd. Therefore, she could not contact Duguchioma now. She could only look for an opportunity in the Azura Blood Road. Chapter 1163. The witch's guess was indeed correct. Yi Zongyue and Gu Xiaoyang were indeed hidden in the crowd. Their figures were also concealed by cloaks, but they didn't attract the attention of others. After all, in a place like the Molo Empire, there were too many experts who hid their identities. At this moment, under the hood, Yi Zongyue's beautiful face was as cold as the moon. She frowned as she looked at Duguchioma in the distance, a look of disgust on her face. He slaughtered 13 cities in a row. I can't believe he's so cold-blooded and ruthless. Yi Zongyue couldn't be considered a saint, but in her opinion, the act of slaughtering an entire city was a little outrageous. Therefore, Lee Sang-yue instinctively felt a little disgusted by Dugu-cheoma. But there was also a hint of surprise in her eyes. Because she felt that Dugu-cheoma's face seemed a little familiar, as though she had seen him somewhere before. She wasn't the only one who felt that way. Gu Xiaoyang's eyes were fixed on Dugu-cheoma. He also felt that he had seen Dugu-cheoma somewhere before. But the evil and cold temperament confused Gu Xiaoyang's judgment. Maybe it's an illusion. Gu Xiaoyang shook his head. He didn't associate Dugu-cheoma with Ye Guchen. After all, Ye Guchen was a person who had died a long time ago in his eyes. When we enter the Azura Blood Road, if we encounter him, we should do our best to get rid of him. The sins he has committed are outrageous, Lee Sang-yue said indifferently. Of course, a madman who kills without blinking an eye can be easily dealt with. Gu Xiaoyang didn't seem to care. A person who hadn't even reached the divine dwelling stage was indeed no different from an ant in his eyes. While Gu Xiaoyang and Lee Sang-yue were secretly sizing up Dugu-cheoma. Dugu-cheoma also vaguely noticed this. After all, he had the talent of the Spirit Devourer clan, and his spiritual perception was extremely sharp. He could detect Gu Xiaoyang and Lee Sang-yue's gazes. Who are those two? Their auras feel a little familiar. Dugu-cheoma thought to himself. Shortly after, the corners of his mouth curled into an icy cold arc. There are more and more interesting people. Looks like my god-devouring sword won't lack for nourishment of fresh blood within the Azura blood path. With the arrival of the various forces, the Azura bloody path was about to begin. The Infernal Queen waved her hand as countless blood-red rocks the size of pigeon eggs scattered and landed in everyone's hands. Dugu also obtained one from Chioamo. This is, looking at the pigeon egg-sized blood-colored stone in his hand, Dugu raised his eyebrows slightly. The Infernal Queen said, "This is a bloodstone. It is also used to calculate your results. Within the Azura Blood Road, when you kill blood demons or obtain Azura blood, this bloodstone will automatically calculate your points according to your harvest. And this score is also your ranking in the Azura Blood Road. For the younger generation, it will also affect your ranking on the blood ranking." The Devil Queen explained. "I see." Dugu-cheoma understood. This bloodstone was a tool to calculate the points. But what is a blood demon? Dugu-cheoma asked. Hearing this, Pei-tu explained. The blood demon is a kind of creature unique to the Azura Blood Road. If you want to obtain Azura blood, the most direct way is to kill the blood demon. The blood demon's heart contains Azura blood. Dugu-cheoma nodded. Subsequently, the other Sky Demon sect venerables also patiently explained, afraid that Dugu-cheoma would be at a disadvantage in the Azura Blood Road. There were usually two ways to obtain Azura blood. One was to kill the blood demon. The other was to find the Azura blood pool. The Azura blood pool was the breeding ground of the blood demon. It contained a large amount of Azura blood. However, the Azura blood pool was very rare. Even if one was found, it would lead to fierce competition. Therefore, for ordinary martial artists, killing the blood demon was the safest way. Pei-tu and the others did not expect Dugu-cheoma to occupy the Azura blood pool. As long as he could safely kill the blood demon and obtain points, it would be enough. Dugu-cheoma nodded slightly, but his eyes flashed with a cold light. He was determined to get the Azura blood pool. After distributing the bloodstones, the various factions and independent martial artists began to enter the Blood Demon Valley. In the Blood Demon Valley, all kinds of plants were blood red. There were also many blood red vines that were like the blood vessels and tendons of a human body. They spread in all directions, giving people a strange feeling. Not long after, Dugu-cheoma saw a blood-red door that was 10 feet tall in the deepest part of the Blood Demon Valley. At this moment, a blood-red vortex was faintly forming in the blood-red door. Is this the entrance to the Azura Blood Road? Dugu-cheoma looked at it. The vortex in the blood-red door only appeared once a year. Therefore, the Azura Blood Road also opened once a year. Not long after, the blood-red vortex was completely formed. "Everyone, you can enter now," the Demon Queen said. The various factions and tens of thousands of martial artists could no longer hold back and swarmed toward the blood-red vortex. Dugu-cheoma's figure flashed as he used so close, yet worlds apart, turning into an afterimage as he flashed toward the blood-red vortex. As she looked at Duguqioma, who didn't pay any attention to her at all, Qingqing bit her jade lips and stomped her jade feet while a feeling of being wronged suddenly arose in her heart. Duguqioma did not care about her at all. In less than a quarter of an hour, all the participating cultivators had entered the Azura Blood Road. At the same time, the Demon Queen waved her hand again, and a blood-red screen appeared in the air. Tens of thousands of names appeared on the screen. The name of every person who held a bloodstone would appear on it. This way, the Mara royal family and the 6 factions would be able to keep track of the points in real time. Among them, the Sky Demon sect was the most concerned. Pei Tu and the others stared unblinkingly at Duguqioma's name. If Duguqioma's name disappeared from the screen, it meant that he had fallen. Even if he doesn't want to be first, at least he can't be last, Pei Tu and the others murmured in their hearts. However, even they were not optimistic about Duguqioma's chances. The reason for that was because the enemies that Duguqioma had provoked were simply too many and too powerful. The various factions in the outside world were watching the screen, hoping that their geniuses could achieve good results. Within the Azura Blood Road, Duguqioma appeared on a blood-red plain. Is this the Azura Blood Road? Duguqioma looked around. The surroundings seemed to be a blood-red world, as if soaked in a layer of blood. It gave off a somewhat oppressive feeling. Whether I can break through to a flawless divine dwelling depends on the opportunities here. Duguqioma did not hesitate. His figure flashed as he began to search for opportunities. Because the martial artists who entered the Azura Blood Road were randomly teleported, Qingqing and the others from the Sky Demon sect were not by Duguqioma's side. Duguqioma did not mind. He did not belong to the Sky Demon sect. It was just a transaction. Not long after, a mournful scream came from ahead. Duguqioma looked over. That is... Chapter 1164. A cultivator's chest was pierced through by a strange creature. The creature was humanoid and had sharp fangs. It looked like a demon from hell. Its entire body was blood-red, and its arms were a pair of sharp blades. The cultivator's chest was pierced through by one of the sharp blades. Is that the blood demon? Duguqioma looked at the strange creature. The blood demon was a creature that was nurtured from the Azura blood pool and was unique to the Azura Blood Road. Save me. The cultivator was still struggling, spitting out blood as he stretched out his hand in Duguqioma's direction. Duguqioma's face was indifferent. The blood demon's arms shook, and the sharp blades tore the cultivator in half. Immediately after, tentacles extended from the blood demon's body and sucked the cultivator's corpse dry. This. Duguqioma raised his brows. He finally understood why tens of thousands of cultivators would enter the Azura Blood Road every time it opened. It turned out that they were not the only ones who treated the blood demon as prey. The blood demon also treated them as food. After sucking the cultivator dry, the blood demon's scarlet eyes turned to Duguqioma. After letting out a shrill scream, the blood demon brandished its pair of sharp blades and charged at Duguqioma at an extremely fast speed. Duguqioma reached out with one hand and used the devouring yuan explosion. A ball of black demonic light erupted, seeming to cause the void to explode. A large blood-red hole immediately appeared on the blood demon's body. However, the blood demon's vitality was extremely tenacious, and it continued to charge at Duguqioma. Duguqioma used the evil yuan puppet again. A wave of black vibrations, accompanied by spirit power, spread out, and cracks appeared in the surrounding ground. The blood demon's body cracked and was on the verge of shattering, but it still stubbornly stabbed at Duguqioma with its sharp blades. This blood demon isn't weak. Duguqioma murmured. The strength of these ordinary blood demons was close to the divine dwelling stage. Coupled with their agile speed and sharp blades, it would be very troublesome for ordinary divine dwelling stage heaven prides. Moreover, Dugu knew that there were more than just ordinary blood demons in the Azura Blood Road. It was rumored that there were even more powerful elite blood demons and even more powerful golden blood demons. However, the number of blood devils was also extremely small. In the end, Dugu punched the blood demon's head into pieces. He thrust his hand into the Bloodseeker's chest and pulled out his heart. Then he took out a jade bottle and began to collect the Azura blood in his heart. In the end, he managed to fill up a bottle. Only one bottle? Dugu Chio-mo frowned, somewhat dissatisfied. He finally understood why the Azura blood was so precious in the Mola dynasty. Killing a blood demon only allowed him to obtain a single bottle of Azura's blood. The harvest was indeed too little. Looks like I need to find even stronger elite blood demons and golden body blood demons, Dugu muttered to himself. Just as he killed a blood demon and obtained a bottle of Azura's blood. The bloodstone that he had obtained had also undergone some changes. The number 10 had appeared on it. Killing an ordinary blood demon is worth 10 points? Looking at the number, Dugu Chio-mo muttered to himself. In the outside world, Pei 2 and the others were constantly paying attention to the results on the light screen. Seeing the number behind Dugu Chio-mo's score change from 0 to 10, they were slightly relieved. At least they could confirm that Dugu Chio-mo was safe. Only 10 points. It seems that the strength of this white-haired sword demon who slaughtered 13 cities does not match his fame. On the Mystic Demon Palace's side, Fan Yuan mocked. He had suffered a loss in the Heavenly Demon Sect and was extremely aggrieved. Now, he wanted to vent all his anger. Moreover, this time, the false saint powerhouse of the Mystic Demon Palace had also come, so Fan Yuan had no scruples and was not afraid of Pei 2's face darkened. Just as he was about to refute, he saw Yuan Hua and Soul Demon scores. One of them had more than 200 points, while the other had more than 150 points. At this moment, they were already at the top. In comparison, Dugu Chio-mo's 10 points were a bit unsightly. Even Pei 2 could not say anything to refute. He could only put on a sullen face. Seeing this, the Demon Queen shook her head. She completely removed Dugu Chio-mo from the list of prince consort. He was indeed not worthy of Princess Luoho. The major forces in the outside world were paying close attention to the score. And Dugu Chio-mo in the Azura Blood Road was looking for blood demons. Dugu Chio-mo did not care about those ordinary blood demons. He even felt that it was a waste of time. Therefore, when he occasionally encountered an ordinary blood demon, Dugu Chio-mo would just skip it and be too lazy to make a move. As Dugu Chio-mo went deeper, he could feel that there seemed to be a thick energy hidden in the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. Dugu Chio-mo was very curious about what that energy was. How was the Azura Blood Road formed? Where did the Azura blood come from? All of this was a mystery for the time being. Just as Dugu Chio-mo was thinking in his heart, an ear-piercing scream pulled him back to reality. A blood demon swooped down from the sky. That blood demon was larger than an ordinary blood demon and had a hard blood-colored exoskeleton. In addition, the biggest difference between it and an ordinary blood demon was that it had a pair of blood-colored wings on its back, which allowed it to fly. It was really like a Rakshasa. Elite blood demon. Dugu Chio-mo's eyes showed a hint of interest. Finally, a good prey had come. The elite blood demon waved its sharp blade and charged at Dugu Chio-mo. Dugu Chio-mo used the devouring energy explosion again, and a powerful black demonic light exploded. But the effect this time was not as good as when he was dealing with an ordinary blood demon. The elite blood demon's exoskeleton was too hard and was almost close to a quasi-tribulation divine weapon. Dugu Chio-mo used the second round of the battle god demon body and collided with the elite blood demon, immediately raising a cloud of dust. After a round of fighting, Dugu Chio-mo had a rough idea of the elite blood demon's strength. It was comparable to a second or third layer divine dwelling heaven pride. Coupled with a hard exoskeleton and extremely fast wings, it was very difficult for heaven prides of the same level to deal with it. In the end, Dugu Chio-mo brought out the god-devouring sword and cut the elite blood demon in half. In front of the ancient demon sword, the hard exoskeleton was no different from a piece of paper. Dugu Chio-mo also took out its heart and refined more than 10 bottles of Azura blood. Hunting elite blood demons is indeed more cost-effective, Dugu Chio-mo said. His score also directly increased by 100 points. The points of an elite blood demon were comparable to 10 ordinary blood demons. Next, Dugu Chioemo continued to search for traces of elite blood demons. He also went deep into the Azura Blood Road. In just a few days, several elite blood demons suddenly appeared in the distance in Dugu Chiomo's field of vision. Why are there several elite blood demons gathered together? Could it be? Dugu Chioemo seemed to have thought of something. A small pool appeared in front of him, and the pool was full of sticky blood slurry. That's the Azura Blood Pool. Chapter 1165. What was the fastest way to obtain a large amount of Azura blood in the Azura Blood Road? Without a doubt, it was to find the Azura Blood Pool. But generally speaking, there would be some blood demons gathered around the Azura Blood Pool. Therefore, it was very difficult for a prodigy to occupy a blood pool alone. The Azura Blood Pool in front of Dugu Chiomo was not very big. It could only be considered a small Azura Blood Pool, and there were only a few elite blood demons around it. But for Dugu Chiomo, he was extremely lucky to encounter such an opportunity. Many prodigies had entered the Azura Blood Road several times, but they had never encountered a blood pool. Go! Without the slightest hesitation, Dugu Chiomo wielded the God Devourer sword and summoned the battle god demon body. He wanted to end the battle in the fastest way possible. The elite blood demons immediately discovered Dugu Chiomo. Their eyes emitted a cold, bloodthirsty light as they charged toward Dugu Chiomo. Dugu Chiomo poured his chi into the God Devourer sword, and a blood-red sword light tore through the air, sweeping toward the elite blood demons. It was the 13 demon swords, blood kill. Puchi. Blood splattered everywhere. Although the elite blood demons' exoskeletons were tough, they were like paper in front of the sword light of the God Devourer sword. Soon, Dugu Chiomo killed all the elite blood demons. His points were also slowly rising. After extracting the Azura blood from the hearts of the elite blood demons, Dugu Chiomo walked to the edge of the Azura blood pool. The blood pool was about 3 feet wide. It was not very big, but there was definitely a lot of Azura blood in it. Just as Dugu Chiomo was about to collect it, a voice suddenly came from not far away. That's the Azura blood pool. Hearing this voice, Dugu Chiomo frowned slightly. He turned around and looked. A group of people walked over, each with a demonic beast by their side. Only the leader was a gray-robed young man with 2 demonic beasts. These 2 demonic beasts were comparable to the 6th level of the divine dwelling stage. One of them was a human-faced ghost bat, with a white human face pattern on its wings. One of them was a black demon scorpion, its stinger glowing with a faint green light. This gray-robed youth was none other than the genius of the demonic beast sect, Shan Yu, who was ranked 9th on the blood ranking. It's you, Dugu Chiomo. What a small world. Seeing Dugu begging for help at the edge of the Azura blood pool, the corners of Shan Yu's mouth curled up into a faint smile. He also noticed the corpses of the elite blood demons scattered on the ground. His expression changed slightly as he asked, "Did you kill these?" Dugu Chiomo's face was cold as he looked at Shan Yu. Seeing that Dugu was not saying anything, Shan Yu came to a realization. He shook his head and smiled. I'm overthinking things. With your strength, how could you possibly kill off these elite blood demons alone? You must have picked up their loot. Dugu Chiomo's cultivation had yet to reach the divine dwelling stage, so Shan Yu instinctively looked down on him. Although Dugu Chiomo had killed Yuan Huang, Shan Yu knew that his strength was definitely not weaker than Yuan Huang if he added the 2 demonic beasts. Not to mention the dozen or so demonic beast sect disciples beside him. Such a force was simply using a sledgehammer to crack a nut against Dugu Chiomo. While Shan Yu and the others were facing off against Dugu Chiomo, several unaffiliated cultivators also faintly appeared in the surroundings. They were also staring at the Azura blood pool with blazing eyes. Although it was a small Azura blood pool, it was enough to cause a fight and massacre. But after seeing Shan Yu and the other demonic beast sect disciples, these unaffiliated cultivators shrunk their heads. Although opportunities were important, their lives were more important. They did not have the guts to compete with the disciples of the 6 great forces. However, when they saw Dugu Chiomo, who was all alone, a trace of pity appeared in the eyes of those rogue cultivators. Dugu Chiomo's luck is really bad. Yeah, it wasn't easy for him to encounter such a great opportunity, but he ended up colliding with the demonic beast sect. How many breaths do you think Dugu can last? I don't think it will be long before he is torn to pieces by the demonic beast sect's demonic beasts. The surrounding rogue cultivators were all discussing animatedly. Kid, do you regret it now? Shan Yu's eyes were playful. In his eyes, Dugu was already a turtle in a jar. You really talk a lot of nonsense. Dugu tone was indifferent. His indifferent attitude even made the surrounding unaffiliated cultivators mistakenly think that Shan Yu's side was the weaker side. You're courting death. Go. Shan Yu's face darkened. He did not attack himself, but let the demonic beast sect disciples beside him do it. This was because he believed that Dugu was not worthy of him attacking. The dozen or so demonic beast sect disciples all used beast-taming techniques. Suddenly, the dozen or so demonic beasts roared and rushed out. Dugu tilted his head slightly, and his dark golden soul-devouring demon eye flashed with a cold luster. In an instant, the sea of consciousness of the dozen or so demonic beast sect disciples trembled as if huge waves were set off. Bang, bang, bang. Heads exploded one after another like watermelons, filling the sky with blood-colored fireworks, bringing with it a kind of cruel beauty. In an instant, the dozen or so demonic beast sect disciples were dead, and their headless corpses collapsed on the ground. The dozen or so demonic beasts had lost their restraints and were fleeing in all directions. They had lost their fighting strength. Shan Yu was stunned. Previously, he had heard that Dugu had a strange demon eye that could kill whoever he stared at. However, he did not believe it at all and thought that the rumors were exaggerated. How could there be such a strange ability in this world? But now, looking at the headless corpses on the ground, Shan Yu's mind went blank. Next, it's your turn. Dugu looked at Shan Yu. Shan Yu suddenly felt a wave of shock in his mind. But no matter what, he was still a divine-dwelling heaven pride and could not be compared to those disciples. He only felt a sharp pain in his mind. Human-faced ghost bat, black demon scorpion, kill. Enduring the intense pain, Shan Yu activated his beast-taming technique. The human-faced ghost bat and the black demon scorpion turned into two rays of black light and charged toward Dugu. Dugu face was still indifferent. Holding the god-devouring sword in his hand, sword light spread out, and sword shadows appeared one after another at an extremely fast speed. It was the 13 demon swords, vanishing shadow. Puchi. Unsurprisingly, the god-devouring sword directly cut the black demon scorpion in half. The black demon scorpion's hard shell was as fragile as paper in front of the god-devouring sword. How is this possible? Shan Yu's face was as pale as painted. The black demon scorpion's defensive power was extremely astonishing. Ordinary quasi-tribulation divine weapons could not break its shell. But now, it was cut in half by Dugu sword. Not only that, Dugu flipped his hand again, and the blood-red sword light tore through the air. The human-faced ghost bat released a black sound wave, but it could not stop it at all. With a whoosh, the blood-red light flashed, and the human-faced ghost bat was also cut in half. Dead silence. The eyes of the unaffiliated cultivators in the distance were filled with shock. As the saying goes, hearing is false, seeing is believing. Only those who had witnessed Dugu strength with their own eyes knew that the legend of the white-haired sword demon who slaughtered 13 cities was absolutely not an exaggeration. Chapter 1166. Everyone's heart was filled with a chill. This chill originated from the white-haired killing god in front of them. Only when they saw it with their own eyes could they truly understand how terrifying the legendary white-haired sword demon was. You're the only one left. Dugu looked at Shan Yu and revealed a faint smile. However, in Shan Yu's eyes, this smile was like a demonic azura, causing his entire body to turn cold. A chill surged from his spine all the way to his head. How is this possible? Shan Yu was unwilling to believe his eyes. Dugu strength had far exceeded his expectations. Don't meet me in your next life. Duguchuma did not speak nonsense and swept out his sword. Blood splattered everywhere. Shan Yu's head flew up and blood gushed out from his chest like a fountain. Everyone in the distance felt their scalps go numb and their eyes were filled with fear. Duguchuma's eyes swept across and a demonic blood light bloomed from his soul-devouring demon eyes. Bang, bang, bang. In the distance, heads exploded one after another, and the bodies of rogue cultivators collapsed to the ground. In order to be able to collect the Azura blood in the Azura blood pool, Duguchuma could only kill all the onlookers. To him, this was not a psychological burden at all. After solving some small problems, Duguchuma took out a jade bottle and collected all the blood in the Azura blood pool into his origin ring. More than 800 jade bottles were filled to the brim. In addition, Duguchuma also plundered the spoils of war from Shan Yu and the others. In the end, he obtained more than 1,000 bottles of Azura blood. Participating in the Azura blood path is indeed the fastest way to obtain Azura blood. Looking at the origin ring full of Azura blood, Duguchuma smiled faintly. His bloodstone points also began to skyrocket. It went from a few hundred to 1,000 and reached 1,800. This was also because he had obtained the Azura blood pool. Let's continue forward. Duguchuma did not stop walking. In the outside world, the various forces' gazes never left the light screen. A false saint from the demonic beast sect smiled. The results of the demonic beast sect's disciples were very stable. It seemed that they had gathered together. Thinking of this, the demonic beast sect's false sacred beast looked at the Sky Devil sect. Their scores were all extremely unsightly. Even the saintess of the Sky Fiend sect, Qingqing, only had 200 to 300 points. As for Duguchuma, he was only, When the demonic beast sect's false sage saw the score behind Dugu's name, he suddenly froze, 1,800. The demonic beast sect's false saint was flabbergasted. He thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. He rubbed his eyes and continued looking. It was still 1,800. At this moment, a demonic beast sect's venerable suddenly cried out, "How could this be? What's going on? Why are you making such a ruckus?" The fake saint of the demonic beast sect said with a sullen face. The supremacy beside him pointed out with a trembling finger. When the fake sage of the demonic beast sect saw this, he nearly fainted. The names of Shan Yu and the other demonic beast sect's disciples turned gray and slowly disappeared. This could only mean one thing. It meant that Shan Yu and the other demonic beast sect's disciples had died. How is this possible? The fake saint of the demonic beast sect roared. The other factions also noticed this and were all astonished. I seem to remember that when Shan Yu and the others' names turned gray, Duguchuma of the Sky Fiend sect's score skyrocketed. Could it be? A supremacy murmured. On the Sky Fiend sect's side, Pei Tu, the fake saint, was so excited that his old face trembled slightly. Duguchuma's score directly entered the top 10. This made everyone in the Sky Fiend sect feel like they were dreaming. In the past, no one in the Sky Fiend sect could enter the top 10 on the Azura Blood Road. Perhaps this time, Duguchuma will bring a great surprise to our Sky Fiend sect. Maybe he can enter the top 5. Pei Tu was secretly excited. He didn't dare to think that Duguchuma could get first place. It was already very good for him to enter the top 5. No. How is this possible? How could Shan Yu and the others die in the hands of Duguchuma? The people of the demonic beast sect couldn't believe it. Looking at the experts of the demonic beast sect whose faces had turned green, Pei Tu and the others of the Sky Fiend sect felt refreshed. Could it be that I have misjudged this lad? Even the Devil Queen revealed a look of surprise in her eyes. Duguchuma didn't seem to be as bad as she had imagined. Even so, Duguchuma's performance was nothing in the eyes of the Demon Queen. For example, Yi Songshan, Yuan Hua, Princess Luoho, and the others were among the top with more than 2,000 points. Especially Yi Songshan, who had reached 3,000 points. In addition, there were some experts who didn't know who had amazing scores. These three people's performances are really surprising. The Demon Queen and the others noticed that there were 3 unfamiliar names in the top 10. One was Mo, one was Yu, and one was Xingyun. These three people's performances were not inferior to Yuan Hua, Princess Luoho, and the others. They were even catching up with Yi Zongshan, who was ranked first. At this moment, in another area of the Azura Blood Road, there was also a small Azura blood pool. At the edge of this small Azura blood pool, three figures were confronting each other. On one side was a warrior who looked like a child with a head full of blood hair. He was Blood Fiend Boy, who was ranked 10th on the blood ranking. He came from the Blood-Clothed Tower, one of the 6 major forces. At this moment, he had a cruel smile on his face. He looked at the two figures opposite him and said, "It's your misfortune to compete with me for the Azura blood pool." However, the person opposite him, who was covered in a black cloak, chuckled and said, "How dare you be so presumptuous in front of me? You're courting death." Blood Fiend Boy's eyes were filled with killing intent. As the 10th on the blood ranking, he had a fierce reputation in the Maro dynasty. He had never been looked down upon like this. He threw out a palm, and a blood-red palm print expanded in the wind. It was the Blood-Clothed Tower's unique skill, the bone-melting blood palm. If one was hit by the palm, one's body would turn into minced meat. The strong wind lifted the cloak of the person opposite him. Under the cloak was a handsome young man wearing a starry robe and a starry crown. There was a hint of mockery at the corners of his mouth. He raised his hand, and his genuine chi surged. He had reached the 6th level of the divine dwelling realm. How is this possible? The aura of this cultivation made Blood Fiend Boy's expression change dramatically. Great Luo Star Seal. The handsome young man pinched a seal with one hand, and the power of the stars gathered and turned into a giant silver seal. Its surface was overflowing with light, as if there were stars surging, revealing the mysteries of the stars. The seal blasted out, smashing the blood-red palm print as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood, and then bombarding Blood Fiend Boy with undiminished momentum. Puchi! Blood Fiend Boy spat out blood wildly, and all the bones in his body were crushed. He was a Heaven's Pride ranked 10th on the blood ranking, but he couldn't withstand a blow from the handsome young man. You're definitely not a Heaven's Pride of the Maro dynasty, you're? Blood Fiend Boy's eyes bulged, and his eyes were bloodshot as he stared at the handsome young man. Then, as if he had thought of something, his eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. No. Impossible, how could you be here? You're one of the top 10 young men. Bang! Before Blood Fiend Boy finished speaking, the handsome young man smashed Blood Fiend Boy's heart meridian with a palm. Yes. I'm young Master Xingyun. Gu Xiaoyang. Chapter 1167. After killing the Blood Fiend Boy, Gu Xiaoyang's face was indifferent. In his view, the Heaven Prides on the blood ranking of the Mo Luo Empire were indeed no different from ants. As the Heaven Prides of an overlord force and one of the top 10 young masters, Gu Xiaoyang had the capital to look down on the Heaven Prides of an empire. He turned to look at the Azura blood pool with a faint smile on his face. I didn't expect there to be such a cultivation treasure in an empire. Moreover, I think the Azura blood should be related to the inheritance of the supreme expert in the deepest part of the Azura blood road. Gu Xiaoyang began to collect the Azura blood. To the side, the other cloaked person also took off her cloak. She was dressed in a moon-white robe, outlining her slender body. Her face was like the moon, cold and beautiful. Her skin was like ice and her bones were like jade. There was a mole at the corner of her left eye, adding a touch of charm to the woman's coldness. It was Yi Zongyue. She furrowed her brows. Don't forget the main purpose of our entry here. Gu Xiaoyang smiled as he collected the Azura blood. Of course I know. My main purpose is to find the Demon Emperor phenomenon user and prevent the witch from contacting him. Then you still have the time to collect opportunities? Yi Zongyue's voice was cold. Her main purpose was not to seek opportunities. Gu Xiaoyang still had a faint smile on his face as he said, Fairy Zongyu, don't worry. I will do my best to assist you. If I'm not wrong, the witch and the demon emperor will definitely head to the depths of the Azura blood road in search of the greatest fortune. We will also search for opportunities along the way and will eventually meet them. At that time, we can easily suppress them with our combined strength. Gu Xiaoyang's face was full of confidence. As one of the top 10 young masters of the South Horizon region, he naturally had his own confidence. Although he had suffered a great loss in the infinite wasteland plains, Gu Xiaoyang was not someone who would be dispirited after encountering a setback. Otherwise, his cultivation would not have reached the powerful 6th layer of the divine dwelling realm. That would be for the best. Yi Songyue's face relaxed a little. Killings were happening all the time in the Azura Blood Road. Between martial artists, between forces, between martial artists and blood demons, there was a conflict. After several days, Dugu Qiuma finally reached the depths of the Azura Blood Road. Along the way, he saw many withered corpses. It was obvious that they had been killed by the Blood Devil. After entering the depths, Dugu Qiuma encountered almost all elite Blood Devils. At this moment, there was another commotion in front of him. Dugu looked over with a demonic gaze. Surprisingly, he found a blood demon. In terms of appearance, the Blood Devil was similar to the elite Blood Devils. The only difference was that their bodies were golden, as if they were made of gold. Their murderous aura was stronger and sharper. Golden Blood Demon. Dugu Qiumo's eyes narrowed. Among the Blood Devils, the Golden Blood Devil was undoubtedly the strongest. Generally, the top 10 Sky Prides on the blood ranking could only run away when facing the Golden Body Blood Demon alone. The Golden Blood Devil's strength was comparable to a 5th-layer Divine Dwelling expert. What was even more impressive was that the Golden Blood Demon's speed, strength, and toughness far exceeded the Heaven's favorites of the same level. It could be said that some 6th or 7th-layer Divine Dwelling experts would find it very difficult to face them. Finally, I can meet an opponent who can let me fight to my heart's content. There was no fear in Dugu Qiumo's eyes. Instead, they were burning with a biting cold fighting spirit. With a stomp of his foot, he executed so close, yet worlds apart, and his figure instantly turned into an afterimage. Sky-devouring secret technique. Dugu Qiumo executed the sky-devouring secret technique, and his cultivation base suddenly broke through the divine dwelling barrier. He broke through 3 realms and reached the 3rd layer of the divine dwelling realm. Battle God Demon Body. He once again activated his physical body technique. Dark demonic runes spread out from under his skin, making his whole body exude a mysterious and powerful demonic aura. With the 2 techniques superimposed together, Dugu Qiumo's battle strength soared like a geyser. The Golden Body Blood Demon hissed and discovered Dugu Qiumo right away. It flapped its golden wings, turned into a beam of golden light, and collided with Dugu Qiumo. Boom. Like a collision of meteorites, a vast wave of energy spread out. Dugu Qiumo summoned the God Devourer's sword and swung it out. Sword light split the air. The Golden Body Blood Demon crossed its golden blades to block the attack. There was a clanging sound of metal exploding. 2 deep marks appeared on the Golden Body Blood Demon's blades, but they were not cut off. It's really strong. Dugu Qiumo was not surprised at all. The Golden Body Blood Demon seemed to be enraged. Its blood-red eyes stared at Dugu Qiumo, emitting a bloodthirsty cold light. Immediately, the 2 sides engaged in a fierce battle. Dugu Qiumo executed the 13 demon swords, Blood Kill, and Vanishing Shadow. Sword light swept through the air and tore through the air. The Golden Body Blood Demon's body was strong and powerful. Its sharp blades slashed through the void, producing ear-piercing explosions. Boom, boom, boom. Continuous sounds of collisions could be heard. Dugu Qiumo fought to his heart's content. There were a few wounds on his body. They were pierced by the sharp blades, but there was no blood flowing out. There was only a black aura. The Golden Body Blood Demon was puzzled. It did not understand why this human's body was so strange. Interesting. Next, let's try this move. Dugu Qiumo activated his Sea of Consciousness. His genuine energy rose along with his soul power. A pitch-black vortex appeared above his head. It was the secret skill of the Soul Devourer clan, the great God-devouring skill. A terrifying suction force burst out and pulled half of the Golden Body Blood Demon's body into it. Cracking sounds rang out incessantly. Like a meat grinder, Fresh blood and shattered carapace splattered everywhere. The power of the great god-devouring skill was extremely strong. Hiss! The golden body blood demon roared crazily. A sharp blade pierced through Duguchiomo's left chest. In order to maintain the stability of the great god-devouring skill, Duguchiomo did not retreat. The sharp blade pierced through Duguchiomo's chest and pierced through his heart. The golden body blood demon's eyes revealed a trace of cruelty. But what stunned it was that the human in front of it did not have the slightest change in expression. Sorry, my heart is not on the left. Duguchiomo smiled coldly. Immediately, he activated the devouring power in his body. The terrifying devouring power began to devour the golden body blood demon's life force. The Azura blood in its heart was also absorbed by Duguchiomo. In just a moment, the golden body blood demon was sucked into a shell. Duguchiomo's body fell to the ground and coughed twice. The Azura blood of the golden body blood demon flowed in his body. Vaguely, there was a strange power that gradually spread in his dantian. Could it be that the Azura blood of the golden body blood demon is helpful in transforming a flawless divine dwelling? Feeling this strange power, Duguchiomo was surprised. Just as he was about to carefully appreciate this power, a surprised and enchanting voice suddenly sounded. "Tsk Tisk, I'm really lucky. I didn't expect to meet young Master Dugu here." Hearing this voice, Duguchiomo's eyes lit up. Chapter 1168. Not far away, a figure appeared. It was a woman dressed like a nun. She wore monk robes, and her skin was milky white and her face was bewitching. There was not a single strand of hair on her head, making her look very strange. However, it added a strange charm to her. It was the prided daughter of the Six Desire Demon sect, Miao Yu. "It's you." Duguchiomo's eyes deepened. He had just finished off the golden blood demon and had suffered some injuries. Although they were not serious, his battle strength had clearly dropped. He did not expect to run into Miao Yu of the Six Desire Demon sect. Duguchiomo was only filled with coldness towards the Six Desire Demon sect. The pink gentleman had also been killed by his original body, Yiguchen. Miao Yu's long and bewitching eyes looked towards the empty shell of the golden blood demon. A trace of astonishment appeared in her eyes as she asked, "This golden body blood demon was killed by young Master Dugu? Does it have anything to do with you?" Duguchiomo silently recovered from his injuries. Miao Yu's eyes flashed. "Even if young Master Dugu killed it, I believe young Master Dugu must be seriously injured, right? Oh, then what do you want?" Duguchiomo narrowed his eyes. His calm demeanor made Miao Yu a little bewildered. Could he not be seriously injured? But how is that possible? Even I would be seriously injured if I faced the golden blood demon. Moreover, his cultivation has yet to reach the divine dwelling stage. Miao Yu pondered. But soon after, a charming smile appeared on her face. "Young Master Dugu, don't worry. Miao Yu has no killing intent towards you." "No killing intent, Duguchiomo sneered. Miao Yu's killing intent had not been any weaker than Shan Yu, Yuan Hua and the others outside the Azura Blood Road. "Of course. Young Master Dugu, you must believe me. Miao Yu not only has no intention of dealing with you, but also admires you." Miao Yu's eyes flashed with a bewitching pink light, filled with hunger and charm. She could sense that Duguchiomo was exuberant with blood and essence. "If I can suck Duguchiomo dry, my cultivation will increase by another step." Thinking of this, Miao Yu could no longer hold back. She raised her jade-like hand, and a pink mist enveloped Dugu like a gust of wind. "This is..." Duguchiomo was shrouded in the pink mist and was slightly surprised. "Hee, young Master Dugu, this is good stuff. It's called Toppling Luan Inverted Phoenix Powder. Next, let Miao Yu serve young Master, and climb to the peak of bliss together." Miao Yu's tone was flirtatious, incomparably flirtatious. The Toppling Luan Inverting Phoenix Powder was a poison of the Six Desires Demon sect. Those who were poisoned would not only be paralyzed, they would also lose their ability to fight. They would also be charmed and manipulated, willingly becoming Miao Yu's furnace. Through this method, Miao Yu had sucked dry the flesh and blood essence of countless men, turning them into skeletons. "You're too dirty." Dugu Chiumo's body was paralyzed on the ground, but his expression was as indifferent as ever. He was willing to fulfill Qing Qing's wish because Qing Qing was clean and untainted. And this Miao Yu, who used the method of absorbing men's essence to cultivate, indeed made Dugu Chiumo extremely disgusted. Hearing Dugu Chiumo's words, the seductive smile on Miao Yu's face faded, and it turned into a touch of coldness. What she hated the most was others saying that her body was dirty. "Dugu Chiumo, I originally wanted to keep you alive and play with you slowly in the future. But now I've changed my mind. I want to turn you into a dried corpse." Miao Yu slowly approached Dugu Chiumo. As she walked, she took off her monk robe, revealing her white and plump body. "How is it? Is my body beautiful?" Miao Yu's eyes shone with pink light, and together with the toppling Yuan inverted phoenix powder, she tried to confuse Dugu Chiumo and control his mind. "Sorry, it's still disgusting." At this time, Dugu Chiumo suddenly exploded, and one of his hands reached out, directly choking Miao Yu's neck. Miao Yu's long and narrow eyes widened, and her seductive face was filled with extreme disbelief. How can this be? Miao Yu couldn't believe it. This scene was beyond her expectations. Not to mention that Dugu Chiumo's strength was damaged, he was also poisoned by the toppling Yuan inverted phoenix powder. Logically speaking, he should be paralyzed and unable to fight. It was also because of this that Miao Yu let down her guard. "It seems that your poison is useless against me." Dugu Chiumo revealed a cold smile. Dugu Chiumo had a pure demon body, and was naturally immune to most poisons. When Dugu Chiumo first came to the Moro dynasty, Madame Black Scorpion's poison also had no effect on him. This was also one of Dugu Chiumo's hidden advantages. "Young Master Dugu, please spare me. I can do anything, and I don't mind being a slave or a maid." Miao Yu was really panicking, and her seductive face was now ghastly pale. She never thought that the toppling Yuan inverted phoenix powder would have no effect on Dugu Chiumo. "You're an eyesore even if you're a maid." Dugu Chiumo exerted force with his palm, and with a crack, Miao Yu's neck snapped. The proud daughter of the Six Desires demon sect had fallen. Dugu Chiumo immediately searched Miao Yu's origin ring and obtained more than 400 bottles of Azura blood. Although it wasn't much, it wasn't little either. Dugu Chiumo's points finally broke through the 2,000 mark, reaching 2,400. At the same time, a huge commotion broke out outside the Azura Blood Road. The Demon Queen, the 6 major forces, and the other martial artists who were paying attention all stared at the blood-red light screen. The name of the 6 Desire Demon sects Miao Yu slowly turned gray. As for Dugu Chiumo's points, it increased explosively again, reaching the 7th place. Seeing this scene, anyone could guess that it was Dugu Chiumo who had killed Miao Yu. That was why his points had increased so much in such a short period of time. How could this be? The faces of the 6 Desires demon sects, false saints and venerables turned ashen. Their gazes almost pierced through Pei Tu and the others of the Sky Demon sect. Pei Tu and the others were also stunned. Dugu Chiumo had surprised them again and again. First, he killed Shan Yu of the Beast Demon sect, and now he killed Miao Yu of the 6 Desires demon sect. Could it be Yuan Hua and Soul Demon of the Mystic Demon Palace next? Many people looked at the Mystic Demon Palace. Fan Yuan of the Mystic Demon Palace snorted and said, "The 2 supreme talents of the Mystic Demon Palace are ranked 3rd and 4th on the blood ranking. How could Dugu Chiumo be a match for them?" Hearing these words, everyone present slightly nodded their heads. Miao Yu and Shan Yu weren't weak, but they weren't the best. They were only ranked 8th and 9th on the blood ranking. Yuan Hua and Soul Demon were ranked 3rd and 4th on the blood ranking. Their strength was 1 level lower. Even Pei Tu didn't like the Mystic Demon Palace, but he didn't refute. This was the truth. Yuan Hua and Soul Demon could be said to be the strongest supreme talents of the Mola dynasty besides Yi Tsongshan and Princess Luoho. Dugu Chiumo wasn't weak, but in the eyes of everyone he couldn't be compared with Yuan Hua and the others. Just as the outside world was discussing about Dugu Chiumo. In the Azura Blood Road, Duguchuomo had really gone deep into the Azura Blood Road. Here, danger was everywhere. Of course, the opportunities were also more abundant. There seemed to be the sound of fighting and the sound of surging tides coming from the front. That's... Duguchuomo's eyes lit up. Chapter 1169. A vast blood-colored lake appeared in his field of vision. It was an Azura blood pool. However, it was much larger than the small Azura blood pool that Dugu had encountered before. It was a medium-sized Azura blood pool. A small Azura blood pool was extremely rare. A medium-sized Azura blood pool was even rarer. As for a large Azura blood pool, it was said that there was only one in the deepest part of the Azura blood path. However, that place was also extremely dangerous. A small Azura blood pool allowed me to collect more than 800 bottles of Azura blood. This medium-sized Azura blood pool should be able to collect at least 2,000 bottles of Azura blood in one go. A dark light flashed in Dugu's eyes. At this moment, the sound of fighting and collisions could be heard incessantly at the edge of the Azura blood pool. Dugu looked over and saw that the leader was Princess Luoho. She led more than 30 prodigies from the Mara royal family to fight the blood demons at the edge of the Azura blood pool. There were a total of 3 golden body blood demons and 10 elite blood demons. Compared to the small Azura blood pool that Dugu had encountered before, the blood demons at the edge of the medium-sized Azura blood pool were much stronger. The golden body blood demons were extremely powerful. Even Dugu found it difficult to deal with them. Although Princess Luoho was not weak, it was difficult for her to fight against 3 golden body blood demons. Although there were more than 30 prodigies supporting her, their strength did not pose much of a threat to the golden body blood demons. They could only hold back the elite blood demons. Princess Luoho held the scythe of the god of death in her hand as she battled a golden blood demon. The other 2 golden blood demons acted as if they were unstoppable as they massacred the geniuses of the Mara royal family. Damn it! Princess Luoho's cold and beautiful face turned ugly when she saw this. She had underestimated the strength of the golden body blood demons. As time passed, the Mara royal family's prodigies were killed by the golden body blood demons one after another. Not long after, only a dozen or so prodigies were left. In the dark, Duguchuomo had some thoughts when he saw this. If I were alone, it would be difficult for me to deal with 3 golden body blood fiends at the same time. Furthermore, Princess Luoho possesses the Luoho Life Providence. She might be of help to me in activating the Heaven Ferocious Life Providence. Duguchuomo was not a kind-hearted person. He was not fated to see injustice on the road. However, at that moment, he was also pondering whether or not he should make a move. Firstly, Duguchuomo alone would not be able to deal with the 3 golden body blood demons. Only by working together with Princess Luoho would they be able to succeed. Secondly, Princess Luoho's Luoho Life Providence might be helpful to him. Therefore, Dugu could not watch helplessly as Princess Luoho perished. She still had something he could use. Thinking of this, Duguchuomo no longer hesitated and revealed himself. Princess Luoxian noticed it immediately. She was just about to open her mouth and ask this person who had suddenly appeared to help deal with the golden body blood demon. However, from the corner of his eye, he discovered that it was Duguchuomo. "Why are you here?" Princess Luoho's expression turned even uglier. Of all the people who came, it had to be Duguchuomo, who she was a little disgusted with and who had once taken liberties with her. "It seems that your highness does not welcome me?" Duguchuomo said indifferently. "Duguchuomo, if you dare to take advantage of me behind my back, I will not let you off." Princess Luoho's voice was cold and filled with killing intent. She was famous for her killing, and her personality was also cold and bloodthirsty. To a certain extent, she was somewhat similar to Duguchuomo. "Heh, Princess Luoho, do you still have the strength to threaten me?" Duguchuomo smiled nonchalantly. Princess Luoho's face darkened. The current situation was indeed not good for her. Duguchuomo said, "Princess Luoho, I have a suggestion. In the current situation, you can't deal with the 3 golden body blood demons. I can help." Princess Luoho was indifferent. Someone who had not even reached the divine dwelling stage, what qualifications did he have to deal with the golden body blood demons? Duguchima was not angry and said indifferently, "My strength may not enter your eyes, but I have killed a golden body blood demon." "What? You killed a golden body blood demon?" Princess Luoho's eyes flashed with surprise. The golden body blood demon was very powerful and comparable to the fifth layer of the divine dwelling stage. Duguchima had not even reached the divine dwelling stage, so how could he have killed a golden body blood demon? But Duguchima's expression was very calm and did not seem to be lying. Princess Luoho hesitated for a moment and said, "Your request." She did not care whether Duguchima was telling the truth or not, but as long as he joined in, even if it meant sharing some of the pressure. "I want half of this medium-sized Azura blood pool," Duguchima said indifferently. "What? That's impossible." Princess Luoho was furious. The medium-sized Azura blood pool was at least equivalent to 2,000 bottles of Azura blood, or even more. Duguchima wanted half of it. He was definitely asking for too much. Princess Luoho would never agree. "Is that so? What a pity." Duguchima shook his head and stood indifferently. Princess Luoho ground her silver teeth hatefully. Given her cold and bloodthirsty personality, if not for the golden body blood demon holding her back, she would have slashed Duguchima with her scythe. Right at this moment, another figure appeared in the distance. He sensed the fluctuations of the battle and flew over. The newcomer was a figure wearing a black robe and a black hood. He held a white bone staff in his hand. It was the godson of the Heaven Divination sect. The Heaven Divination sect's godson had also appeared in the Sacred Dynasty's inheritance. "Your Highness," the Heaven Divination sect's godson said in surprise when he saw Princess Luoho in danger. He had always admired Princess Luoho in his heart, but because of Princess Luoho's cold personality and reputation, he had never shown it. "Heaven Divination sect's godson, come help this princess." Princess Luoho breathed a sigh of relief when she saw the Heaven Divination sect's godson. Although the Heaven Divination sect's godson was not extremely strong, he was not much weaker than her. If the Heaven Divination sect's godson was willing to help, the situation would be much better. "Princess Luoho, there is no need to worry. I will take action now," the Heaven Divination sect's godson said. The Heaven Divination sect's godson naturally would not miss this opportunity to get closer to Princess Luoho. However, just as the Heaven Divination sect's godson was about to take action, a figure suddenly flashed and blocked in front of him. "I advise you not to meddle in other people's business." Duguchima crossed his arms in front of his chest, his white hair fluttering in the wind. His tone was cold and chilling. If the Heaven Divination sect's godson took action, how could he obtain the resources of the Azura blood pool? Duguchima. Princess Luoho clenched her teeth, her plump breasts heaving up and down. She was so angry that she almost vomited blood. It was one thing for Duguchima to watch from the sidelines, but he even stopped the Heaven Divination sect's godson from taking action. This drove Princess Luoho mad, and she wanted nothing more than to hack Duguchima to death with her scythe. "Duguchima, you dare to block my path?" The Heaven Divination sect's godson sneered. Only those in the outside world knew that Duguchima had killed Shan Yu and Miao Yu. Those in the Azura blood path naturally had no idea. Thus, the Heaven Divination sect's godson had no idea how strong Duguchima was. Chapter 1170. The Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple was ranked 6th on the blood ranking and was far stronger than Yuan Huang and the others that Dugu had killed. Therefore, the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple didn't take Duguchima seriously at all. "Princess Luoho is in trouble, but not only did you not help, you even stopped me from helping. You're really crazy." The Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple's eyes glinted darkly. Now was the time for him to perform. If he performed well, Princess Luoho might see him in a different light. "Heh, why didn't I know that the Molo dynasty has such a virtue as helping each other?" The corner of Duguchima's mouth revealed a cold and mocking smile. In a place like the Molo dynasty, there was no such thing as helping others. The heaven witchcraft sect's disciple was only willing to help because he admired Princess Luoho. "You're courting death." Hearing the mockery in Duguchyoma's words, the heaven witchcraft sect's disciple's face turned extremely cold. His cultivation aura erupted, revealing that he had reached the third layer of the divine dwelling. Although he wasn't as strong as Princess Luoho, Yuan Hua, and the other fourth-layer divine dwelling heaven prides, he wasn't weak either. Desolation Staff Art. The heaven witchcraft sect's disciple waved the white bone staff in his hand. Suddenly, a chilly wind blew and black mist filled the sky. Countless staff shadows appeared and wailed like ghosts and wolves. Not only was this staff art powerful, but it also contained a soul attack. If one's mind wasn't strong enough, they would be affected, their movements would become sluggish, and their battle power would be reduced. But Duguchuma was different. The Soul Devourer clan's talent made his sea of consciousness extraordinary. Let alone the heaven witchcraft sect's disciple, the soul demon of the mystic demon palace, might not be a match for Duguchuma. To deal with the heaven witchcraft sect's disciple, Duguchuma didn't even need to use the Sky Devourer's secret art. He only needed to use the battle god demon body. Demonic runes emerged from his skin, making Duguchuma look even more mysterious and demonic. He reached out with one hand and clenched the air. Yuan Devourer explosion. A powerful black light exploded like a black star, and the powerful shockwaves collided with the heaven witchcraft sect's disciples. Rumble. The sounds of explosions and collisions were incessant. The moment the dust rose, Duguchyo executed so close, yet worlds apart, and appeared in front of the heaven witchcraft sect's disciple in an instant. Then, without any fancy moves, Dugu's seeking demons punched out, and at the same time, he used the evil origin puppet. Black shockwaves erupted along with this powerful punch. Although it was not as powerful as Yi Gu Chen's two-star ancient god form, the pure demon body and the battle god demon body complemented each other, so the power was not weak either. The heaven witchcraft sect's disciple was shocked, not expecting Dugu to erupt with such power. He placed the white bone formation horizontally in front of his chest, erupting with the true chi of the third layer of the divine dwelling stage to defend himself. But when the punch landed, there was a loud bang. The heaven divination sect's disciple felt as if he had been rammed by a primordial demonic dragon. A force as heavy as Mount Tai crushed down on him, causing the bones in his arms to creak as if they were about to shatter. He retreated more than 10 steps, looking at Duguchyo in horror. "Your physical strength." The heaven witchcraft sect's disciple was astonished. Not far away, Princess Luoho, who was struggling to hold on, was also stunned. She originally thought that the heaven witchcraft sect's disciple, who was 6th on the blood ranking and 3rd layer of the divine dwelling stage, could quickly deal with Duguchyo and then come to her aid. But she did not expect that the situation would turn out like this. His strength. Princess Luoho's cold eyes flashed with surprise under the mask. Duguchyo was somewhat beyond her expectations. Damn it! The heaven witchcraft sect's disciple's face was extremely gloomy. He originally wanted to show off in front of Princess Luoho, but he had suffered such a loss. He had to get back at him. The heaven witchcraft sect's true chi poured into the white bone staff, and a black mist rose from the white staff, turning into a pitch-black demonic seal that seemed to be able to suppress a part of the sky. Dark Death Seal. This was one of the heaven witchcraft sect's ultimate techniques. Seeing this, Duguchyo's devouring power erupted, and a powerful black light spread out from his body and condensed into a sinister black dragon head. It was the first level of the heaven-devouring secret art, the Black Dragon Devour. The black dragon's head opened its terrifying maw and swallowed the dark death seal into its mouth in an extremely shocking manner. How is this possible? The heaven witchcraft sect's disciple was dumbstruck, almost doubting his own life. Duguchyo's endless methods left him incomparably astonished. But what made the heaven witchcraft sect's disciple's hair stand on end was that the black dragon head opened its mouth again, and the dark death seal rushed back at him. Damn it! Caught off guard, the heaven witchcraft sect's disciple hurriedly summoned a bone armor to defend himself, but it was still impacted, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. The bone armor was covered in cracks and shattered. "It's over." Dugu Chioamo didn't want to delay, for he could see from the corner of his eye that Princess Luoho wouldn't be able to last much longer. If he wanted to kill the 3 golden blood devils and obtain the Azura blood pool, he would need to work with Princess Luoho, so she couldn't die. Without any hesitation, Dugu Chioamo raised his hand, and in a flash of black light, the God Devourer sword wrapped in black crystals appeared. Demon 13 Swords, Vanishing Shadow. Dugu Chioamo's figure blurred as his sword tore through the air and slashed at the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple. The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple instantly sensed a fatal danger. Face pale, he slapped his chest and spat out a mouthful of essence blood that splashed into the void. Heaven Witchcraft Divine Art, Substitution Puppet. With these words, Dugu Chioamo's God Devourer sword slashed across the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple's neck. But contrary to Dugu Chioamo's expectations, no blood spurted out from this slash. A few seconds later, the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple was turned into a headless scarecrow. Not far away, the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple's figure appeared in the void. He didn't hesitate at all. With a panicked expression, he directly flashed away, not daring to stay for even a second. "Damn it, damn it, damn it." The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple spat out blood as he fled, his intestines turning green with regret. The Heaven Witchcraft Divine Art was the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's core cultivation method. The substitution puppet was one of its moves, allowing one to use a puppet as a substitute for death. However, it only had one chance and would cause one's vitality to be greatly damaged after using it. This was originally the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple's trump card, giving him a chance to avoid death. But now, it had been wasted on Dugu Chioamo's sword. Not only that, he had to flee so pathetically in front of Princess Luoho. It could be said that he had suffered a double loss. "Damn it, Dugu Chioamo, if I have the chance in the future, I won't let you go." The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple fled with grievances and resentment. Watching the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple disappear into the distance, Dugu Chioamo shook his head and said, "This Heaven Witchcraft Sect's technique is indeed a little interesting." After some thought, Dugu Chioamo decided not to pursue. The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple was just a fly. If he encountered him in the future, he could just slap him to death. The most important thing now was the Azura blood pool. With this thought, Dugu Chioamo turned around and looked at Princess Luoho with an indifferent expression. Princess Luoho was immediately embarrassed. Chapter 1171. She hadn't expected Dugu Chioamo to be so powerful. After all, one's cultivation level could sometimes confuse one's judgment. Luoho was caught between a rock and a hard place. If she allowed Dugu Chioamo to help, she'd be slapping herself in the face. After all, Princess Luoho had looked down on Dugu Chioamo before. She had also refused his help and refused his request for half of the Azura blood pool. However, if she didn't allow Dugu Chioamo to help, the result would be obvious. Even if Luoho could use her trump card to escape the Golden Blood Demon's attacks, she'd have to give up on the medium-sized pool. Ah! Screams rang out as the remaining dozen or so geniuses of the Mara Imperial family were killed by the other 2 Golden Blood Demons. The 2 Golden Body Blood Devils turned their attention to Princess Luoho. Luoho's expression was grave. She'd always been decisive, but now she was caught between a rock and a hard place. However, Dugu Chioamo stood calmly on the outside with his hands behind his back. If Luoho didn't agree, he wouldn't help. Luoho gnashed her teeth in anger when she saw Dugu Chioamo's expression. As the princess of a nation and a fearsome figure, no one had ever dared disobey her. Dugu Chioamo was the only one who wasn't afraid of her, and even dared to threaten and tease her. The 3 Golden Body Blood Demons formed a triangular formation and surrounded Princess Luoho. Luoho's expression changed. It would be difficult for her to escape in this situation. The 3 Golden Body Blood Demons turned into 3 streaks of golden light. The sharp blades in their hands pierced towards Princess Luoho. "Damn it, this princess agrees." Luoho's face flushed red. She couldn't help but shout. At the same time, the 3 golden body blood demons had already reached Princess Luoho. Damn it! Luoho gripped the scythe of the death god, thinking that she'd be seriously injured this time. However, in the next moment, a blur flashed past and brought Princess Luoho away from the 3 golden body blood demons. All of a sudden, Princess Luoho felt herself being hugged by someone. Turning her head, she saw Duguchioma's cold and charming side profile. Princess Luoho, why didn't you say so earlier? Duguchioma's lips curled into a smile. Princess Luoho felt very uncomfortable. She was not wearing any clothes. Only a few pieces of black armor covered her important parts. Large patches of snow-white skin were exposed. At this moment, Duguchioma was hugging her waist. Her exposed skin was practically sticking to Duguchioma's body. Her originally towering bosom was pressed tightly against Duguchioma's chest, becoming flat and round. Let go! Princess Luoho struggled out of Dugu's grip, her expression extremely unnatural. That beautiful jade face, which had always held a touch of coldness, actually quietly surged with an imperceptible blush. Her clothes seemed to be revealing, but they were not slutty. She had never been close to anyone of the opposite sex since she was young, because she felt that no man in the Mola dynasty was worthy of her. But at this moment, a strange feeling emerged in Princess Luoho's heart. Duguchioma said indifferently, "You rest for a while. I will hold them back." Princess Luoho suppressed the strange feeling in her heart and sneered, "Aren't you afraid that I will leave and let you face these blood demons alone?" Ta! Duguchioma shook his head. "First, I am confident that I can escape from the 3 golden blood demons. Second, I believe that your highness is not willing to give up the Azura blood pool for nothing." Duguchioma's words left Princess Luoho speechless. "All right, wait for me to recover." Princess Luoho's face was cold as she swallowed a healing pill. Although she was very unwilling to cooperate with Duguchioma, it seemed to be the only way at this moment. Seeing this, Duguchioma turned around to face the 3 golden body blood devils. "It's a little troublesome, but it's okay." Duguchioma immediately used the Sky Devourer's secret technique and his cultivation soared to the 3rd layer of the divine dwelling stage. Adding on the power of the battle god demon body, his strength skyrocketed. 13 demon swords, blood kill. Duguchioma charged toward the 3 golden blood demons with the god devourer sword in his hand. A secret technique to increase one's cultivation level. Is this your trump card? Princess Luoho regulated her breathing while paying attention to Duguchioma. She had indeed underestimated Duguchioma before. The more she watched, the more she felt that Duguchioma was a little mysterious, as if he was hiding some secret. Duguchioma fought the 3 golden blood demons. The more Princess Luoho observed, the more shocked she became, because she realized that Duguchioma did not bleed at all after being pierced by the golden blood demon's sharp blade. Duguchioma did not even frown when he was injured, as if he could not feel the pain. Is it because of some kind of body tempering technique? Princess Luoho could only think of this. After 15 minutes, Duguchioma said, "Princess Luoho, if you don't act now, we won't be able to obtain the Azura blood pool." Princess Luoho coldly glared at Duguchioma. She really wanted to leave and let Duguchioma be killed by the golden blood demons. But for the sake of the Azura blood pool, she could only give up on this idea. And for some reason, Princess Luoho had a feeling that Duguchioma had not fully revealed his strength. With Princess Luoho's help, the pressure on Duguchioma was greatly reduced. Although the 3 golden blood demons were difficult to deal with, Princess Luoho and Duguchioma were not to be trifled with. It took some time, but in the end, the 2 of them joined forces and killed the 3 golden blood demons, as well as the other elite blood demons. Princess Luoho panted, her breasts heaving up and down, looking very alluring. With her strength, she had paid a great price to kill the 3 golden blood demons. She had used up a lot of energy. Duguchioma had a calm expression from beginning to end. Even though there were many wounds on his body, he did not make a sound. What a monster! Princess Luoho muttered under her breath. It was normal to be ruthless to others, but it was even more terrifying to be ruthless to oneself. Now we can start distributing, Dugu Chuma said. Princess Luo Ho wanted to go back on her words and slash Dugu Chuma with her scythe. But looking at Dugu Chuma's dark golden demonic eyes, she instinctively felt a sense of fear. Dugu Chuma sneered and did not say anything. He went to the Azura blood pool and began to collect the Azura blood. In the end, he collected more than 1,500 bottles of Azura blood. In addition to the blood essence in the golden blood demon's heart and the blood he had collected before. Dugu Chuma now had more than 3,000 bottles of Azura blood on him. This was already a huge number. His points on the bloodstone had also skyrocketed to 4,300 points. Princess Luo Ho's expression was ugly, but she still collected her share of the loot. Her points also skyrocketed. Goodbye, Princess Luo Ho. Dugu Chuma left without hesitation. Dugu Chuma, this princess will remember this. Princess Luo Ho gritted her teeth and stomped her foot. For the first time, her indifferent state of mind was disturbed. Dugu Chuma was the first person in the Molo dynasty who dared to take advantage of her like this. Chapter 1172. Dugu Chuma and Princess Luo Ho's skyrocketing points naturally shocked the outside world. Pei Tu and the others from Heavenly Demon Sect were so happy that they didn't know what to say. Originally, they thought that it was already very good that Dugu Chuma could enter the top 10. But now, Dugu Chuma was ranked 4th. Heavenly Demon Sect's geniuses had never achieved such good results in the Azura Blood Road. 1,000 bottles of Azura blood is too worth it, Pei Tu said with a smile. When he promised Dugu Chuma 1,000 bottles of Azura blood, there were some criticisms in Heavenly Demon Sect, thinking that he was being too nice to Dugu Chuma. But now, no one would criticize him anymore. What's there to be proud of? That Dugu Chuma hasn't met the 2 geniuses of my mystic demon palace. If he does, any one of them can kill Dugu Chuma, Fan Yuan said with a cold face. Hearing Fan Yuan's words, the smiles on Pei Tu and the others' faces faded. If it were other geniuses, Pei Tu would definitely be disdainful because Dugu Chuma's combat strength was extraordinary. But if he encountered Yuan Hua and Master Soul Demon, Pei Tu wasn't confident. He didn't know if Dugu Chuma had the ability to fight them. At this moment, a Heavenly Demon Sect's supremacy suddenly exclaimed, "Elder Pei Tu, look at that light screen." Pei Tu looked over and saw Heavenly Demon Sect's Saintess Qing Qing's name flickering and slowly dimming. Not good. Pei Tu's face sank. This meant that Qing Qing had been severely injured and encountered great danger. There was a possibility that she would die. If she died, her name would turn gray and disappear. At the same time, Dugu Chuma had already reached the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. Dugu Chuma's sharp divine soul perception could also sense that there seemed to be an extremely exuberant blood chi fluctuation in the deepest part. Could there be a large Azura blood pool in the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road? Dugu Chuma guessed. However, very few people had ever walked to the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road because it was too dangerous. Suddenly, there were sounds of fighting in front of them. Dugu looked into the distance with a demonic gaze. A few disciples dressed in the Heavenly Demon Sect's attire were drenched in blood. They were injured in many places and were staggering as they fled. Behind them, a dozen or so geniuses from Mystic Demon Palace chased after them with mocking expressions. It was like a cat playing with a mouse. Run again if you have the guts. A genius from the Mystic Demon Palace sneered. Damn it, my Heavenly Devil Sect's holy son Dugu won't let you off, roared a Heavenly Devil Sect disciple. Oh, what bullshit, Chosen. He's a cripple who hasn't even reached the divine dwelling stage. Our Lord Hun Demon has already captured the saintess of the Heavenly Demon Sect, Qing Qing, and released the news that Dugu Chuma is looking for her. But where is your chosen Dugu now? That genius from the Mystic Demon Palace sneered. Perhaps Lord Holy Sun didn't receive the news, a Sky Fiend Sect disciple said unwillingly. It was just that he wasn't too sure and didn't have much confidence. Ha, ridiculous. Doesn't your saintess know how to send a message? I think Dugu Chuma is afraid of Lord Hun Demon, so he avoided the battle and didn't even save your saintess, the genius from the mystic demon palace mocked. His words made the several heavenly devil sect disciples speechless. They also didn't have any confidence. "Alright, I've had enough fun. I'll send you on your way." The genius from the mystic demon palace sneered and lifted his hand to attack the heavenly devil sect disciples. Just then, a black-clothed, white-haired figure inserted himself between the two like a ghost. You are. The expressions of the dozen or so geniuses changed slightly. "It's Chosen Dugu." "Greetings, Lord Chosen." The several heavenly devil sect disciples were taken aback at first, but then their faces lit up with ecstasy. Their heavenly devil sect's strongest heaven pride, Chosen Dugu, had finally appeared. Dugu Chuma. The dozen or so geniuses from the mystic demon palace couldn't help but take a few steps back with extreme fear on their faces. They were still disdainful of Dugu Chuma earlier, but now, their faces were pale and their backs were drenched in cold sweat. "Why aren't you continuing?" Dugu Chuma crossed his arms in front of his chest and tilted his head slightly as he looked at them indifferently. Let's go." The leading genius from the mystic demon palace snorted and turned to leave. "Did I allow you to leave?" Dugu Chuma's face suddenly darkened. In an instant, an extremely terrifying killing intent and baleful aura swept out, causing the universe to change color. The dozen or so mystic demon palace disciples immediately trembled like a sieve. "Ching, where is she?" Dugu Chuma asked with an indifferent expression. She is in the southeast direction, 300 miles away. She is trapped by Lord Hun Demon. Lord Hun Demon wants to lure you to save her." The genius from the mystic demon palace said with trepidation. The aura that Dugu Chuma released made him feel as though his liver and guts were about to shatter. Heh! Dugu Chuma narrowed his eyes as a cold light flashed across his eyes. Ching didn't send him a message, so Dugu Chuma only knew about it now. It must be because Ching was stubborn and would rather die than send him a message. What a fool! "Although I have no feelings for you, it doesn't mean that I can sit by and do nothing," Dugu Chuma muttered with a complicated feeling in his heart. The dozen or so geniuses from the mystic demon palace saw that Dugu Chuma was thinking about something. Their eyes flickered as they turned around and desperately fled. Devouring energy explosion. Dugu Chuma reached out with one hand and a black demonic light exploded. The group of geniuses didn't even have time to scream before they were swallowed and blasted into pieces. "Don't go any further." Dugu Chuma glanced at the heavenly demon sect's disciples indifferently as he flashed towards the southeast direction. "Thank you, Saint." The heavenly demon sect's disciples bowed and cupped their fists towards Dugu Chuma's back. "Tsk, how strong is Saint Dugu? He killed more than a dozen geniuses so casually." "I don't know, but I do hope that Saint Dugu can kill Master Hun Demon and Yuan Hua." The heavenly demon sect's disciples chatted for a while before they left in a flash. On the other side, 300 miles away, a woman in green was tied to a pillar. The woman's green clothes were torn in many places, revealing bloodstains that set off her snow-white skin. It was exceptionally glaring. A line of blood flowed down from the corner of her mouth, making her look rather miserable. The woman who was tied to the pillar was Ching. Not far away, a man in a blood-red robe stood with his hands behind his back. His long hair was loose and covered one of his eyes. His aura was strange and cold, making people feel uncomfortable. This person was Master Hun Demon, the genius of the mystic demon palace who was ranked 4th on the blood ranking. There were dozens of mystic demon palace's disciples standing around him. In addition, there were thousands of forces and independent cultivators watching from the surroundings. After all, the person who was tied to the pillar was the saintess of the heavenly demon sect. Chapter 1173. That Dugu Chuma hasn't arrived yet? Master Hun Mo frowned slightly. Ching, who was tied to the pillar, had her beautiful face drained of blood and was pale. She smiled weakly and said, "Master Hun, give up. He won't come." "Oh, it seems that this new saint of heavenly demon sect doesn't have tender feelings for the fairer sex. He doesn't even care about you, a saintess of the same sect." If that's the case, Master Hun Nemo sneered. He immediately took out a whip and lashed Ching Ching a dozen times. Ching Ching's delicate body was covered with bloodstains. Her face was even paler and she coughed up blood. But there was a smile on her delicate face. It was just that the smile was a little bitter and desolate. You're right. Ching Ching's life is nothing in his eyes. He's never taken Ching Ching seriously either. She remembered what Dugu Chioma said that day. She didn't have any extra feelings for him. Ching Ching felt a heart-wrenching pain. Perhaps, in the eyes of the Demon King, only a woman like Princess Luo Ho was barely worthy of him. A sense of inferiority spread in Ching Ching's heart. It even made her feel like she had nothing to lose. It was also because of this that Ching Ching would rather die than send a message to Dugu Chioma. Firstly, she didn't want Dugu Chioma to take risks for her. Secondly, Ching Ching also wanted to know if Dugu Chioma would be sad if she died. Hearing Ching Ching's words, the martial artists in the distance couldn't help but shake their heads. That Dugu Chioma massacred 13 cities. I thought he was a peerless, ruthless person. In the end, he turned out to be such a coward. He didn't even dare to save the saintess of his sect. Yes, if it were me, I would definitely come to rescue a saintess like Ching Ching, no matter what the final result is. It seems that Dugu Chioma is still afraid of Mystic Demon Palace. Even Master Hanemo is afraid of him, let alone Yuan Hua. The cultivators in the distance all revealed looks of disdain and ridicule. Although the martial practitioners of the Mara dynasty were mostly cold and indifferent, they still felt indignant when they saw a woman like Ching Ching being trapped. They despised Dugu for begging the devil. Hee, it seems that I have overestimated that Dugu Chioma. To think that I even sent a message to Yuan Hua, asking him to come here. Looks like it's all for naught now. Master Hun Demon shook his head and laughed. That's right. Why call it Dugu Chiomo? I think it's more appropriate to call it Dugu Tortoise. That's right, the holy son of the heavenly demon sect is just a coward. Dozens of Mystic Demon Palace's disciples mocked loudly. It was conceivable that if Dugu Chiomo did not come, then the legend of the white-haired sword demon who slaughtered 13 cities would completely collapse. I won't allow you to insult him. Ching Ching, who was tied to the pillar, raised the last of her strength and shouted mournfully. Oh, judging by your attitude, could it be that you are Dugu Chiomo's woman? Master Hun Demon noticed that Ching Ching's attitude towards Dugu Chiomo was different and raised his eyebrows slightly. Ching Ching bit her lips and did not speak. Master Hun Demon suddenly thought of a vicious scheme. The corners of his mouth lifted into a cruel smile as he spoke. Interesting. In that case, I'll strip you naked and let my Mystic Demon Palace's disciples do it one by one. Let's see if that Dugu Chiomo can resist. As soon as these words came out, Ching Ching's already pale face became even paler. Although she grew up in a chaotic place like the Mara dynasty, Ching Ching had maintained her purity since she was a child. Dugu Chiomo was the first man she had been intimate with. If Master Hun Demon really did such a thing, Ching Ching would rather commit suicide. She also knew that with the character of Master Hun Demon and the others, they would really do such a thing in public. Let me go first. Master Hun Demon slowly approached Ching Ching. Ching Ching shook her head with all her might. Her delicate face was as pale as paper. When the martial artists in the distance saw this, some of them could not bear it and some sighed in their hearts. Some were very interested and could not wait to see the next scene. Ching Ching closed her beautiful eyes in despair. Just as she was about to bite her tongue and commit suicide, an aura suddenly enveloped heaven and earth. That aura was extremely murderous, cold, tyrannical, and cruel. It was as if a demon god had descended to the world and wanted to wash heaven and earth with blood and destroy the universe. Master, demon. The three words were uttered one by one as if a demon god from the underworld was whispering. Just as everyone's hearts were trembling because of this extreme murderous aura, a black crystal sword tore through the air, tearing heaven and earth apart and shaking the universe. Master Hun Demon's face changed abruptly and he hurriedly retreated. The black crystal sword directly pierced through the chest of a Mystic Demon Palace's genius and continued to tear through the air without any reduction in momentum. f, 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 f. Blood blossomed, and in the blink of an eye, the chests of more than 10 Mystic Demon Palace's geniuses were penetrated. Blood splattered everywhere as bones and flesh flew everywhere. In the end, the sword went straight for Qing Qing. When Qing Qing saw the sword, her face that was originally filled with despair froze. Her beautiful eyes widened with disbelief, and even sparkles appeared in her eyes. The black crystal sword brushed past Qing Qing's body and shattered the pillar before stabbing into the ground. Dead silence. There was a deathly silence all around. Before the person appeared, a sword had directly killed more than 10 Mystic Demon Palace's geniuses. It was insolent. In the distance, a figure walked over. His footsteps were very steady, but every step he took seemed to stomp heavily on the hearts of everyone present. It made one's heart tremble like a drum. Following his arrival, the entire world froze with endless murderous intent. 3,000 feet long white hair fluttered in the void. A dark gold demon eye mixed with blood red, like the eye of a demon god from the underworld, stared coldly at Master Hun Demon and the others. Dugu Chioma had arrived. Whoosh! After a brief moment of shock, the surrounding martial artists burst into an uproar. They did not expect that the heavenly demon sex saint, Dugu Chioma, would actually appear. Dugu Chioma. Master Hun Demon's originally frivolous expression froze slightly, because this aura that made one shudder made him have no choice but to be on guard. Dugu Chioma ignored everyone, and his gaze fell on Qing Qing. Qing Qing's green clothes were torn in many places, and there were glaring whip marks all over her body. Clearly, she had been abused. Her beautiful face was also pale and had lost its color. But at this moment, tears appeared in Qing Qing's eyes. The corners of her lips curled into a heart-moving smile. Although she did not want Dugu Chioma to come. But when he really came, Qing Qing could not help but feel happy. At least she had left a shadow in Dugu Chioma's heart. Seeing Qing Qing's blood-stained face, Dugu Chioma's heart surged with coldness. Although Dugu Chioma did not have any feelings for Qing Qing, but it did not mean that he could allow others to humiliate Qing Qing. Dugu Chioma's gaze swept across Master Hun Demon and the others from Mystic Demon Palace as if he was looking at dead people. His bone-chilling words resounded through the boundless blood road. Come up and receive your death. Chapter 1174. For simple words reverberated between the heavens and earth. The faces of the martial artists in the distance froze. Judging from Dugu's words, he wanted to kill dozens of Dark Demon Palace's prodigies, including Master Hun Demon. Master Hun Demon was so angry that he laughed, his eyes cold. This was the first time someone dared to speak to him in such a tone. Although Dugu Chioma's aura surprised him, this aura alone was not enough to make him afraid. After all, Master Hun Mo was ranked 4th on the blood ranking. He had killed countless people. Dugu Chio, you are really as arrogant as the rumors say. However, do you think you are qualified to say such words to me? Master Hun Demon sneered. His strength was extraordinary and he was good at the Tao of Soul. It could be said that even the prodigies of the same realm were afraid of Master Hun Demon because Master Hun Demon did have many strange means in the sea of consciousness. Master Dugu, leave quickly. He has called Yuanhua over. Qing Qing shouted and reminded. Master Hun Demon alone was enough to bring great pressure to others. If they delayed until Yuanhua arrived, the 2 top prodigies of Dark Demon Palace would join forces. No matter how strong Dugu Chiomo was, it would be very dangerous. The martial artists in the distance suddenly understood why Master Hun Demon was so fearless. In addition to his strength, Yuanhua was about to arrive. If Yuanhua arrived, not to mention Dugu Chiomo, even Princess Luoho would find it difficult to deal with the 2 of them at the same time. However, this was only the thought of the outsiders. Dugu Chiomo's expression did not change because of Yuanhua. His face was still cold and indifferent as if he did not care about Yuanhua at all. Oh, Dugu Chiomo, I am very curious. What is it that supports your confidence and gives you the courage to face me and Yuanhua? Master Hun Demon looked quite calm. Are you trying to stall for time? In fact, I don't care whether Yuanhua comes or not. However, one thing is certain. Dugu Chioemo paused. What? Master Hun Demon frowned slightly. You will definitely die. After Dugu Chioemo finished his sentence, he executed imminent skyline and rushed towards Master Hun Demon and the others. You're courting death. Seeing that Dugu Chioma had actually taken the initiative to attack, Master Hun Mo's face sank. With a flick of his sleeve, a group of geniuses from the Mystic Demon Palace charged forward. Dugu Chioemo activated the power of the soul-devouring demon eye. In an instant, the soul-devouring demon eye blossomed with a faint blood-red light. The geniuses of the Mystic Demon Palace who had rushed up immediately felt their sea of consciousness turn upside down. It was as if some mysterious power was causing the soul power in their sea of consciousness to explode. Ah! The geniuses of the Mystic Demon Palace clutched their heads in agony. Some of the weaker geniuses had their heads blown up, and red and white matter splattered everywhere. Dugu Chioma punched out and directly punched through the chest of a genius from the Mystic Demon Palace. He grabbed the heart out and then ruthlessly crushed it. Then, with a flip of his hand, he smashed the head of another genius from the Mystic Demon Palace into pieces. Then, with a kick that carried the power of the battle god demon body, he ruthlessly swung out and smashed another person from the Mystic Demon Palace into pieces, as if he had been trampled by a giant beast. In just a few breaths of time, dozens of geniuses from the Mystic Demon Palace were all annihilated. The smell of blood drifted between heaven and earth. The ground was covered with all kinds of broken limbs, flesh, and bones. It looked extremely horrifying. Everyone's breathing seemed to have stopped. The scene was dead silent and somewhat dull. Gulp! It was unknown which martial artist was the one who swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Dugu Chiomo's method was horrifying and cruel. It made one's scalp tingle. Even if the martial artists of the Maluo dynasty were used to all kinds of killings, they still felt a little frightened when they thought of such a bloody and cruel method. At this moment, Dugu Chiomo's hands were stained with blood. His white hair was also stained with specks of blood, which added a bit of desolation to it. Master Hun Demon was stunned, and his face slightly froze. To be honest, if it was him, he could do it too. However, it was absolutely impossible to do it so cleanly, and it was even more impossible to kill a group of geniuses in such a short period of time. But in an instant, rage and hostility appeared in Master Hun Demon's eyes. Dugu Chioemo actually tortured and killed the people of Mystic Demon Palace in front of him. If he didn't kill Dugu Chioemo, where would he put his face? Dugu Chioemo died. Master Hun Demon finally made his move. He waved one hand, and 10 flying shuttle-like divine weapons appeared. Each flying shuttle was dipped in poison, and all kinds of runes were engraved on it. Master Hun Demon urged his soul power and poured it into the 10 flying shuttles, and flew toward Dugu Chioemo. He was good at the Tao of Soul, so even the weapons were driven by his soul power. Comparing the Tao of Soul, Dugu Chiomo's mouth lifted into a sneer. Who would be better at the Tao of Soul than the Soul Devourer clan? Dugu Chioemo activated the Soul Devourer Demon Eye again. Master Hun Demon immediately felt that there was an abnormality in his sea of consciousness, and it was trembling endlessly. It even affected the 10 flying shuttles, and their speed slowed down. This Dugu Chiomo's demon eye is indeed a bit strange. If I didn't have the spiritual object protecting my sea of consciousness, I might really be affected. Master Hun Demon's body trembled, but he soon calmed down. Originally, he didn't believe Dugu Chiomo's legendary demon eye that could kill anyone it stared at. But now that the truth was in front of him, Master Hun Demon had to believe it. A touch of greed quietly appeared in his eyes. If I can dig out this Dugu Chiomo's demon eye, I might be able to understand the mystery. My Tao of Soul will become stronger. On the other side, Dugu Chioemo didn't look surprised at all. Master Hun Demon's strength wasn't weak, and he was good at the Tao of Soul. Therefore, he would be less affected by the Soul Devourer Demon Eye. As if seeing the greed in Master Hun Demon's eyes, Dugu Chiomo's eyes turned even colder. You want my Soul Devourer Demon Eye? You're courting death. It had always been Dugu Chioemo who oppressed others. No one dared to attack Duguchyo-emo. Duguchyo-emo reached out with one hand, and the soul devourer sword that was stabbed into the ground was summoned. It buzzed and vibrated, rose from the ground, and flew back to his hand. Duguchyo-emo held the soul devourer sword and slashed out. With a loud clang, one of the flying shuttles was directly smashed into pieces. How can this be? My 10 poisons flying shuttle is a quasi-heavenly tribulation divine weapon. How can it be shattered in one blow? Master Hun Demon's face suddenly changed, greatly surprised. Immediately, he controlled the remaining 9 flying shuttles and surrounded Duguchyo-emo. Duguchyo-emo's sword vibrated, and the flying shuttles were shattered and destroyed. But there was still a flying shuttle that grazed Duguchyo-emo's arm. Ha, Duguchyo-emo, you're dead meat. Seeing this, Master Hun Demon laughed heartily. He stepped forward, formed a seal with one hand, and blasted a palm at Duguchyo-emo, Soul Mourning Curse. This palm contained the power of the Soul Curse, and an ominous aura shrouded the area. The 10 poisons flying shuttle was dipped in poison, enough to melt the internal organs. Therefore, Master Hun Demon was not worried that Duguchyo-emo would dodge this move. Master Hun Demon blasted a palm at Duguchyo-emo's head. Everyone's eyes were unblinking at this moment, and even their breathing was about to stop. Was the white-haired sword demon, who had slaughtered 13 cities, about to fall? Chapter 1175. Not far away, Qing-Qing's pretty face turned even paler when she saw this scene. If Duguchyo-emo died because of her, Qing-Qing naturally wouldn't want to live alone. Master Hun Demon slapped down with a cold sneer on his face. This is the result of provoking my mystic demon palace. After you die, I will dig out your demon eye and then dote on your heavenly demon sex saintess. Oh, is that so? Duguchyo-emo suddenly raised his head, the corners of his mouth raised into a cold and cruel arc. He refined the battle god demon body, black demon runes emerged from under his skin, and then his fist collided with Master Hun Demon's palm. How is this possible? Master Hun Demon's face changed drastically as if he had seen a ghost. The poison on his flying shuttle was enough to melt the enemy's internal organs, even if it was just a little bit. But why was Duguchyo-emo still able to move? There wasn't even a trace of poison. However, before Master Hun Demon could think about it, he felt a terrifying force coming from his arm. Master Hun Demon was good at the Tao of Soul, so his physical strength was naturally weak. As for Duguchyo-emo, after attaining the battle god fiend body, his physical body was terrifyingly powerful. Ordinary sky prides of the same level were no match for him, let alone Master Hun Demon who had a weaker physical body. Immediately, a series of cracking sounds of bones were heard. Master Hun Demon hurriedly retreated, his face was pale, and the blood in his chest was turbulent. His left arm was trembling, and his entire arm was twisted in a strange posture. The bones in his arm had been shattered by the terrifying force. This scene was also beyond the expectations of all the onlookers. What's going on? Master Hun Demon's arm was crippled by Duguchyo-emo. Why do I feel that Duguchyo-emo has the ability to be immune to poison? The onlookers were all surprised. Logically speaking, as long as one was of flesh and blood, it was impossible to be immune to poison. Unless Duguchyo-emo was not of flesh and blood or had a special physique. However, the truth was indeed as these martial artists had guessed. Duguchyo-emo's physique was very special. Qing-Qing heaved a sigh of relief when she saw this, and a trace of redness returned to her face. Damn it, you tricked me? Master Soul Demon was so angry that his face turned pale. How could he not know by now that Dugu had asked for the demon's help on purpose to lure him into action and then bait him? Because you are too stupid, Duguchyo-emo said coldly. You're courting death. Heart-shattering demon wave. Master Hun Emo urged his soul power to spread out along with his Jin Qi. The void trembled as ripples spread out. This was one of Master Hun Demon's ultimate techniques. True Qi and soul power intertwined. It could cause damage to the physical body and also cause shock to the soul. Using both methods at the same time, it could shatter the enemy's mind. Black Dragon Devour. Dugu Chio-mo activated his devouring skill. A pitch-black devouring power spread out from his body and condensed into a black dragon head. It opened its huge mouth and devoured the incoming shockwaves. Rumble! The void trembled like the surface of a drum. The earth was shattered, and cracks appeared. Many cultivators in the distance groaned as blood flowed from their mouths and noses. This move was extremely powerful and actually caused them to suffer heavy injuries. If it weren't for the distance, their heart meridians would have been shattered. From this, it could be seen how much pressure Dugu Chio-mo, who was in the middle of the heart-shattering demon wave, was under. Boom! After the collision, the black dragon head was directly shattered, and the heart-shattering demon wave also dissipated. Fourth on the blood ranking, you do have some ability. Dugu Chio-mo's face was indifferent. Originally, the Black Dragon Devourer could reflect the damage of an attack, but there was also a certain limit. If it exceeded this limit, the Black Dragon Devourer would be broken. Of course, compared to Dugu Chio-mo, Master Hun Demon was even more astonished. He blocked my heart-shattering demon wave? Master Hun Demon was astonished. Even an expert of the fourth layer of the Divine Dwelling stage might not be able to block his move. But Dugu Chio-mo hadn't even reached the Divine Dwelling stage. This kid is a little strange. If I want to kill him, it seems I can only use my trump card. Master Hun Demon's face was as cold as frost. He wouldn't easily reveal his trump card, but it was absolutely powerful. Master Hun Demon wasn't stupid. He naturally knew that Dugu Chio-mo's strength was far beyond what he showed on the surface. If he didn't use his true means, it would be very difficult to kill him. Dugu Chio-mo, you really hid your strength well. All of us have underestimated you, but if you think you can deal with me, Master Hun Demon, then you are too naive. Master Hun Demon's voice was hoarse and cold, and an inexplicable aura began to surge around his body. Surging soul power was fermenting around him, as though brewing a certain ultimate move. The martial artists in the distance couldn't help but reveal a look of shock and fear. Could it be that Master Hun Demon is going to use his trump card? It should be. It is rumored that the former fourth on the blood ranking was killed by Master Hun Demon with this move. Let alone a fourth layer of the Divine Dwelling stage, even a fifth or sixth layer expert may not be able to withstand this move. Yes, this move is too strange. Master Hun Demon's state made everyone in the distance fearful. Qingqing also seemed to think of something. Her jade-like face suddenly turned pale, and she shouted in panic, "Gongzi Dugu, quickly leave, he's going to use that move." Dugu Chio-mo stood indifferently, a strange light flashing in his eyes. What move was it that made everyone so fearful? He was also a little curious. It's too late to leave. Master Hun Demon sneered. He lifted his hand, lifting half of his long hair. Before, his forehead hair covered one of his eyes. But at this moment, as Master Hun Demon lifted his hair, the covered eye was also completely exposed. It was a strange dark purple pupil. It emitted a faint purple light that made one's heart palpitate. This strange purple pupil was the source of Master Hun Demon's soul power. It was also his greatest trump card that allowed him to stand at the fourth place on the blood ranking. Innate ability, evil purple pupil. So it's an innate ability. Dugu Chio-mo's face was still cold when he saw this. There was no trace of surprise. He had the soul-devouring demon eye. Naturally, others could also have the innate ability of the eye. For example, Gu Xiaoyang was born with a stellar eye between his eyebrows. This was a gift from the heavens. However, it was different from the stellar eyes and the evil purple-eyed pupils. Dugu Chio-mo's soul-devouring demon eye was derived from the innate ability of the soul-devouring clan. However, as a foreign race of the dark world, the innate ability of the soul-devouring clan was definitely not weaker than these eyes. It might even be stronger. Dugu Chio-mo, after I kill you, I will dig out your demonic eyes. At that time, both of my eyes will possess astonishing might. With a single glance, who will be able to contend against me? Master Hun Demon had a wanton smile on his face as if Dugu Chio-mo was already meat on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. Well, you reminded me. Dugu Chio-emo nodded slightly. What? Master Hun Demon's eyes sharpened. Dugu Chio-emo said with a cruel and bloodthirsty smile. After you die, I'll dig out your evil purple pupil. Chapter 1176. You're courting death. Master Hun Demon was enraged. A fierce soul fluctuation surged into the sky. As a heaven's pride of Dark Demon Palace and ranked 4th on the blood ranking, how many people in the Molo dynasty dared to treat him with such an attitude? Dugu Chuma was the only one. Angering me will only make your death more painful. I'll let you experience the power of the evil purple eye. Master Hun Demon's tone was cold as he activated the evil purple eye. Wisps of strange deep purple light bloomed from the evil purple eye. Dugu Chuma also activated the soul-devouring demon eye. Wisps of blood light scattered from the demon eye. The current situation was very strange. Dugu Chuma and Master Hun Demon did not move at all. They were just standing in the same place. But there was a storm in the surroundings. The earth cracked and the sky shook. It was as if there was some invisible force colliding violently and destroying everything. This was the collision of soul eye techniques. It was silent but strange and deadly. Young Master Dugu. Ching gritted her teeth and retreated to a distance to heal her injuries. Her attention was focused on the battle. Because Master Hun Demon's trump card was really strange and fierce. It had killed many heaven's prides of Molo dynasty. So Ching was very worried. The other martial artists were also paying close attention to the battle. As time passed, Dugu Chuma and Master Hun Demon both took a step back. A line of blood seeped out of each other's eyes. How could this be? Master Hun Demon seemed to be in disbelief as he stared at Dugu Chuma. His evil purple eye could not suppress Dugu Chuma's soul-devouring demon eye and could not invade his sea of consciousness. The result was obvious. Whether it was the demon eye or the strength of his soul, Dugu Chuma was not inferior to Master Hun Demon, who was famous for his soul Dao. Impossible. If his soul power is so strong, how can his body be so strong? Master Hun Demon still could not believe it. Generally speaking, a chosen would either have a powerful true energy cultivation base, a powerful soul force, or a powerful fleshly body. As for Dugu Chioemo, other than the fact that his cultivation state was slightly lower, the power of his physical body and the power of his soul were so strong that they had reached the pinnacle. This was something that Master Hun Mozi could not believe. Dugu Chioemo used his hand to wipe away the blood at the corner of his eyes. He frowned slightly and sighed in his heart. Sigh, I'm still too unfamiliar with the use of the demonic soul-devouring eye. Dugu Chuma was certain that the power of the soul-devouring demon eye had yet to be fully unleashed. The current soul-devouring demonic eye was probably only 10 to 20% of its original power. It was only after Dugu Chuma broke through to the divine dwelling stage that the power and ability of the spirit-devouring demon eye would be unearthed again. However, even 10 to 20% of his power was enough to flatten Master Hun Demon's evil purple eye. From this, one could see how powerful the soul-devouring demon eye was. Master Hun Demon was so confident in his evil purple eye, but in the end he couldn't even suppress the incomplete soul-devouring demonic eye. When the surrounding 1,000 martial artists saw this scene, they were also dumbfounded. They didn't expect this result. Dugu Chiomo's demonic eye is so powerful that even Master Hun Demon can't suppress it? Who knows, maybe Master Hun Demon didn't use his full strength. Many martial artists were whispering to each other. Master Hun Demon's face alternated between green and white. He indeed didn't hold back just now, but he still couldn't suppress the demonic soul-devouring demonic eye. No, Master Hun Demon, must not be defeated. Master Hun Demon's eyes flashed with determination. He must not be defeated by Dugu Chioemo. The next moment, Master Hun Demon bit his finger and smeared the blood on the evil purple eye. In an instant, the evil purple eye bloomed with a demonic purple light. Dugu Chioemo, this is the strongest technique of the evil purple eye. It's enough to destroy your soul. Master Hun Demon roared, and the evil purple eye erupted with boundless purple light. The purple light shrouded Master Hun Demon and Duguchyo Mo. What kind of move is that? Some martial artists were shocked and sucked in a breath of cold air. Master Hun Demon is really going all out. His move is rumored to be able to pull the enemy's consciousness and soul into a mysterious spiritual space. I heard that Master Hun Demon once used this move to erase the consciousness of a fourth-layer divine dwelling expert, turning him into a living dead, a few martial artists who knew some news said with trepidation. What? Erase consciousness? Is this the terrifying ability of the evil purple eye? Becoming a living dead is worse than death. Hearing this explanation, the martial artists felt a chill run down their spine. This kind of innate ability was too terrifying. What? Qingqing couldn't help turning pale when she heard this. She wanted to stop it, but she was blocked by the purple light and couldn't break through. No. How could this be? Qingqing panicked. She attacked again and again, ignoring the wounds on her body. And at this moment, Duguchyo Mo suddenly found himself in a strange space. The surrounding purple light was distorted, like a purple river of stars in the depths of the universe. How is it, Duguchyo Mo? Do you like this place? Opposite Duguchyo Mo, Master Hun Demon stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking incomparably relaxed and indifferent. It was as though he was the king that ruled over everything. Is this the special ability of the evil purple eye? Duguchyo Mo still didn't panic. He was equally calm. Oh, pretending to be calm. But it doesn't matter, you will soon feel fear. Master Hun Demon smiled faintly. His body began to expand violently until he stood indomitable like an ancient giant. A river of stars revolved around his waist, and the sun and moon were smaller than his eyes. Duguchyo Mo, in this consciousness space, I, Master Hun Demon, am the king, the emperor, and the god that rules over everything. Master Hun Demon's voice was vast and mighty, coming from all directions. Is that so? Duguchyo Mo held the God Devourer sword and swung it with one hand. However, the sword light seemed to have cut through the void, passing through Master Hun Demon's huge body. It's useless. Duguchyo Mo, I have said that I am a god. Your attack can't hurt me, but I can crush you like an ant. Master Hun Demon looked down at Duguchyo Mo from above. I see. I understand now. This is the consciousness space you created with the evil purple eye, and then you pulled my consciousness into it. If my consciousness can't withstand the torture and is annihilated, I will become a living dead, right? Duguchyo Mo said calmly. You have some knowledge, but have you thought about how you want to die? I can use 1,000,000 kinds of torture to torture your consciousness. Master Hun Demon sneered. Ridiculous. Duguchyo Mo shook his head and smiled. What are you laughing at? Master Hun Demon's face changed slightly, but he immediately calmed down, and the corner of his mouth held a sneer. In his view, Duguchyo Mo should be trying to be brave, deliberately mystifying things. I'm laughing because you don't know what kind of existence the enemy you are facing is. As Duguchyo Mo's voice fell, his aura burst out. His white hair fluttered, and his eyes were like a sword. The dark golden soul devourer devil eye erupted with an unprecedented blood light. Behind Duguchyo Mo, a terrifying figure with monstrous demonic aura slowly appeared. This is... Master Hun Demon was aghast. Chapter 1177. The vague illusory figure behind Duguchyo Mo filled the space. It was as if the consciousness space couldn't trap it. The figure's white hair fluttered like a white river of stars. The face was extremely blurry, only 2 dark golden eyes could be seen, like the eyes of an ancient demon god, overlooking the world. This figure was the same as the white-haired Soul Eater clan's physical body suppressed under the pyramid of the sacred dynasty, Hunmye Yen. This figure was also a technique derived from Duguchyo Mo's Soul Eater Fiend Eye. Hun Mozi could use the evil purple eye to create a consciousness space and pull Duguchyo Mo's consciousness into it. Duguchyo Mo could also use the power of the Soul Eater Fiend Eye to condense its original form, which was Hunmye Yen. Because Duguchyo Mo's Soul Eater clan talent came from Hunmye Yan's Soul Source Crystal. What the hell is this? This is definitely not your consciousness. Hun Mozi's eyes revealed a trace of panic. He reached out and grabbed Dugu Chiuma's consciousness. Dugu Chiuma just stood there indifferently. Behind him, the consciousness figure condensed from Hun Mia Yan's soul source crystal reached out a hand, grabbed Hun Mozi's arm, and then tore it off. No, a sharp pain from the soul made Hun Mozi let out a shocking scream. In this space, I am a god. How can I lose? Hun Mozi couldn't believe it. Lowly human reptile. The figure spoke indifferently, like an ancient demon god whispering. Hun Mia Yan was a pure-blooded soul-eater royal clan, so his eyes were soul-eater fiend eye. Unlike Dugu Chiuma, who only had one soul-eater fiend eye. When the figure activated the soul-eater fiend eye, it seemed to be able to distort the space here. Hun Mozi's huge figure also began to distort and collapse. No, how is this possible? I want to retreat. Hun Mozi's face was pale, he was really panicking. He didn't think that using the evil purple eye as his trump card would end up being the same as shooting himself in the foot. Soul demon child, thank you for pulling me into your consciousness. Otherwise, it would be a little troublesome to kill you. Dugu Chiuma's lips curled into a cold smile. What is this thing? It's definitely not human. For you. Master Hun Demon was about to go crazy. His eyes were bloodshot. He never thought that Dugu Chiuma would have such a trump card. He had no idea that such an ancient and terrifying existence was hidden in the depths of Dugu's demonic consciousness. You can call him the soul-devouring royal family. Dugu Chiuma said indifferently. Soul-devouring royal family. Master Hun Demon's eyes revealed a hint of confusion. With his horizons, it was simply impossible for him to know about the ancient deeds of the dark world. Boom. In the next moment, Hun Demon's consciousness was directly shattered by Hun Mia Yan's figure. It could be said that Master Hun Demon had dug his own grave. However, after Master Hun Demon's consciousness was destroyed, Hun Mia Yan's figure did not immediately disappear. Dugu Chiuma frowned slightly. You will eventually return to my clan and fight for my clan. Betray the all heavens and become the king of the soul-devouring clan, Hun Mia Yan's figure muttered in a somewhat profound manner before disappearing. Betray the all heavens and become the king of the soul-devouring clan? Dugu Chiuma shook his head. This kind of thing was too far away from him. Now was not the time to think about it. In the outside world, seeing that there was no movement in the purple light, most of the martial artists thought that Dugu Chiuma was most likely going to die. Qingqing's jade-like hands were full of scars. No matter how she bombarded it, she could not break the purple light curtain. Just as she was feeling despair in her heart, the purple light suddenly dissipated. The figures of Master Hun Demon and Dugu Chiuma were revealed in front of everyone. Looking at the two figures standing opposite each other like clay sculptures, everyone's eyes were filled with bewilderment. Is there a need to guess? It must be Master Hun Demon. When Qingqing saw Dugu Chiuma's figure, she directly pounced on him. Young Master Dugu, wake up. Qingqing's eyes were hazy with tears. She bit her lips so hard that blood oozed out. If she hadn't been captured, Dugu Chiuma wouldn't have come. If he didn't come, he wouldn't have died. Why are you crying? A faint voice sounded, causing Qingqing's delicate body to tremble. She suddenly raised her head and stared at Dugu Chiuma's face. Dugu Chiuma opened his eyes and said faintly, Young Master Dugu. Qingqing threw herself into Dugu Chiuma's arms. At this moment, all the awkwardness, grievance, anger, and jealousy no longer existed. She just wanted to lean into Dugu Chiuma's arms. What? When the surrounding martial artists saw this scene, their eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. Their eyes turned to Master Hun Demon at the same time. They saw Master Hun Demon's figure standing upright like a living corpse. Blood flowed out from his 7 orifices. His eyes never opened. Hiss! Thousands of martial artists took a deep breath at the same time. Their hearts turned cold. Dead, Master Hun Demon, ranked 4th on the blood ranking and known for his Tao of Soul, had fallen after using his trump card. If this news were to spread out, it would definitely set off a huge wave. Everyone was puzzled. They stared at Duguqioma as if they were staring at a monster. How did he counterattack? Everyone was curious, but no one had the courage to go forward and ask. After comforting Qingqing a little, Duguqioma walked in front of Master Hun Demon. Under everyone's gaze, Duguqioma directly reached out and dug out Master Hun Demon's evil purple eye. Blood flowed out. Everyone felt pain in their eyes. At the same time, they were even more afraid of Duguqioma. He was definitely a ruthless character. He meant what he said. After obtaining the evil purple eye, Duguqioma plundered Master Hun Demon's Azura blood. Once again, he obtained more than 2,000 bottles of Azura blood. The score displayed on the bloodstone also soared to 5,600 points. Then, he indifferently swept his gaze over his surroundings. Those martial artists felt their scalps go numb. Without the slightest hesitation, they hurriedly fled, fearing that Duguqioma would kill them along the way. Duguqioma didn't make a move. He simply felt that it was a little troublesome. He turned to look at Qingqing. Qingqing lowered her head, ashamed and unable to show her face. She had deliberately kept a distance from Duguqioma before, but now she still needed him to save her. The deepest part of the Azura Blood Road is too dangerous. You should return after recuperating from your injuries, Duguqioma said casually. Qingqing bit her lips, a complicated expression on her face. But she had to admit that although she was at the second layer of the divine dwelling stage, she was only a burden to Duguqioma. But Duguqioma's words seemed to carry a trace of concern. Young Master Dugu, are you concerned about Qingqing? Qingqing suddenly pursed her lips and smiled. Duguqioma turned around and said indifferently, I'm leaving first. With that he flashed and left. Qingqing's pretty face flashed with sadness, shaking her head. She wasn't qualified to possess Duguqioma, and it was impossible for her to possess him. At the same time, on the other side of the Azura Blood Road, Yuanhua, clad in black gold armor and a blood-red cloak, was delayed by a black-veiled woman. What do you want to do? Yuanhua frowned. This mysterious woman with a black veil didn't attack him, nor did she allow him to leave. What was even stranger was that Yuanhua actually felt an extreme sense of danger coming from the mysterious woman. This caused him to be surprised. Well, if that guy isn't weak, he should have been dealt with by now, the black-veiled woman said to herself. What? Could it be Master Hun Demon? Yuanhua's eyes sharpened. Chapter 1178. Previously, Master Hun Demon had sent a message saying that he had captured Qingqing and wanted to use her to lure out Duguqioma. After Yuanhua received the message, he rushed straight to the place Master Hun Demon had mentioned. But halfway there, he was stopped by the mysterious black-masked woman. Yuanhua felt an extremely dangerous feeling from the woman, so he was very cautious and didn't make a move. But now, hearing the words of the masked woman, Yuanhua immediately thought of Master Hun Demon. But the corners of his mouth curved in a sneer. Miss, you mean that Duguqioma has the ability to deal with Master Hun Demon? The masked woman nodded confidently. Of course. Ah, ridiculous. Yuanhua felt it was extremely ridiculous. How could Duguqioma, who hadn't even broken through to the divine dwelling stage, defeat Master Hun Demon, who was at the fourth layer of the divine dwelling stage? In particular, Master Hun Demon also had the remarkable ability Purple Eye Evil Pupil. If he used the Purple Eye Evil Pupil, even Yuanhua wouldn't dare to be careless. So Yuanhua didn't think there was a possibility of Master Hun Demon losing. He ignored the woman and left in a flash. The black-masked woman didn't stop him this time and let him leave. The veiled woman finally smiled in a lovely manner after Master Hun Demon left. She muttered to herself, One has already helped you once. Don't fail to beat a single Master Hun Demon. That will really disappoint me. The black-masked woman was which one? With a twist of her lily-white hand, she took out a dazzling demon bead. If he defeated Master Hun Demon, it's time to come into contact with him. After all, one alone can't deal with that pair of dog and dog. Narrowed her eyes and said in a cold voice. On the other side, Yuanhua finally arrived at the place Master Hun Demon had mentioned. But when he arrived, the scene in front of him made Yuanhua's head buzz. He couldn't believe his eyes. There were broken limbs everywhere. They were all dead disciples of the mystic demon hall. How is this possible? Yuanhua scrunched his brows. The next moment, his gaze suddenly shifted to the half-kneeling ice-cold corpse. The figure's long hair was disheveled, and blood was flowing out of his 7 orifices. One of his eyes was empty. It was the corpse of Master Hun Demon. How could this be? Yuanhua's eyes trembled. Even with his cold and indifferent personality, he still showed such shock. It could be seen how shocked he was. Impossible. Could it be Duguchiomo? But how could he have the ability to kill Master Hunemo? Yuanhua approached Master Hun Demon's corpse and saw the frozen expression on Master Hun Demon's face. It was distorted and horrified, as though he had seen something terrifying. Master Hunmo's personality is cold and cruel. Even he has such an expression. Duguchiomo, what are you hiding? Yuanhua murmured. He wasn't stupid. If young Master Hun Demon was really killed by Duguchioma, then Chioma's hidden strength might be extremely shocking. However, even if you've hidden your strength, Yuanhua, swear that I will kill you. Yuanhua left this place and rushed towards the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. At the same time, at the periphery of the Azura Blood Road, it could be said that monstrous waves had been set off. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the blood-red light screen. They saw with their own eyes that Master Hun Demon's name turned gray before it finally disappeared. Everyone was stunned and couldn't come back to their senses for a moment. Master Hun Demon was a top heaven's pride of Mystic Demon Palace, ranked 4th on the blood ranking. Not to mention in the Mo Luo dynasty, even in the entire Nantian region, he was definitely not weak among the younger generation. But now, he had actually fallen. Fan Yuan and the others from Mystic Demon Palace couldn't believe their eyes and their scalps went numb. Just as Master Hun Demon's name disappeared, Duguchioma's ranking skyrocketed again, directly jumping to the 2nd place. He was second only to Yitsongshan, who was ranked 1st on the blood ranking. Pei Tu and the other Heavenly Devil sect elders were dumbfounded. Even they couldn't believe their eyes. Duguchioma, it must be Duguchioma who killed Master Hun Demon. A Heavenly Devil sect elder said excitedly. Master Hun Demon had just fallen and Duguchioma's score had skyrocketed, rushing to the 2nd place on the blood ranking. This was definitely not a coincidence. It was very likely that Duguchioma had killed Master Hun Demon. After this guess was spread, everyone was shocked. That's impossible. Fan Yuan's face was ashen. He had previously said that if Duguchioma encountered the 2 heaven prides of Mystic Demon Palace, he would undoubtedly die. In the end, he was dead, but the one who died was Master Hun Demon. Mystic Demon Palace should accept reality. Let alone Master Hun Demon, even Yuanhua will follow in his footsteps. Pei Tu sneered, feeling a burst of joy. Of course, he was just saying that to make the Mystic Demon Palace unhappy. After all, Yuanhua was stronger than Master Hun Demon. Duguchioma was able to kill Master Hun Demon? The Demon Queen's charming face also revealed a look of surprise. The young man, who she had looked down on and ignored at the beginning, was now performing more and more amazingly in the Azura Blood Road. While the outside world was in great waves because of the death of Master Hun Demon, Duguchioma was heading towards the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. He had a feeling that the final battle was about to come. And the opportunity to break through to the Divine Dwelling stage and create a flawless Divine Dwelling was likely to be hidden in the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. There was also the rumored inheritance of a supreme expert hidden in the depths of the Azura Blood Road. Duguchioma was also very interested in it. But before that, Duguchioma still needed to solve one thing. He spread out his palm, and the purple eye evil pupil lay quietly in his palm. How should I use this purple eye evil pupil? Do I really have to dig out my left eye and implant the pupil in it? Duguchioma frowned. He wasn't afraid of digging out his eye because Duguchioma's body could shield him from pain. Duguchioma just felt that the body should be kept intact and harmonious. Although the purple eye evil pupil was strong, it was Master Hun Demon's innate ability. Forcibly implanting it on his body might not bring out the best effect. But then, Dugu soul-devouring demon eye suddenly began to tremble. Dugu sensed something and directly placed the purple eye evil pupil close to the soul-devouring demon eye. In an instant, a devouring force erupted, and the power of the purple eye evil pupil was completely absorbed by the soul-devouring demon eye. The blood-red lines in the dark golden pupil of the soul-devouring demon eye became brighter and deeper. At the same time, Dugu instinctively received a message in his mind. The soul-devouring demon eye, after devouring the power of the purple eye evil pupil, had obtained the ability of the purple eye evil pupil. That was, the ability to pull the consciousness and spirit of the enemy into one's consciousness space. It was definitely a terrifying ability. It could be said that Master Hun Demon's ability was a great threat even in the face of Yuan Hua, Princess Luo Ho and the others. But he just had to court death and run into Dugu, who had inherited the talent of the soul-devouring clan. Chapter 1179. But, if you want to use this ability, you have to pay a high price. After sorting out the information in his mind, Dugu frowned slightly. Because to use this ability, it would consume a lot of the Sea of Consciousness origin. If the soul power was consumed, it could be recovered slowly. But if the Sea of Consciousness origin was consumed, it would be difficult to recover. Dugu had 1/3 of Yi Guchen's Sea of Consciousness origin, plus the soul source crystal of soul extinguishing flame and so on. Even so, it was impossible to support Dugu to use this move frequently. No wonder Soul Demon rarely uses this move. It turns out that he uses it desperately. Dugu suddenly realized. This move was just like Yi Guchen's Eye of the Void. It could kill 1,000 enemies but hurt 800 of his own. Dugu decided that he would not use this move unless it was necessary. In his palm, the evil purple eye had turned into a stone-like grayish-white color. Dugu closed his 5 fingers and directly crushed it into flying ashes. However, just as Dugu wanted to continue to go deeper into the Azura Blood Road, a charming voice that could make one's lower abdomen burn suddenly sounded. "I finally found you." The voice was extremely charming and seductive. Listening to the tone, it was as if she had found a lover she had not seen for a long time. Dugu narrowed his eyes and turned around. A woman with a black veil over her face, who was dressed in a black dress and had a devilish figure, was staring at him with her beautiful eyes that were so enchanting that they could drip water. The burning gaze in her eyes was as if she had really seen her lover. In her white jade-like palm, there was a demonic bead that was emitting an unprecedented blazing light. "Well, you are?" Dugu frowned. He did not waver because of the seductive figure and half-covered appearance of the woman in front of him. Instead, he became more vigilant. This woman did not seem to be in the top 10 of the blood ranking of the Maro Kingdom. But the sense of danger she brought to Dugu was more than Princess Luo Ho and the others. Seeing that there wasn't the slightest fluctuation in Dugu's demon-seeking eyes, Wan'er couldn't help being surprised. She was born with a natural charm and was a peerless seductress. No matter how firm a man's heart was, when he first saw her, he couldn't help but feel a little confused. But Dugu begged the devil. His eyes were as indifferent as a pool of stagnant water. That feeling was like a stone without human emotions. "Looks like it can't be wrong," Wan'er thought. Dugu's performance in seeking demons was indeed different from ordinary people. Thinking of this, Wan'er smiled. Even though her face was covered by a black veil, her faint smile was still very moving. "I traveled thousands of miles, crossing mountains and rivers to come here. Why don't you have any reaction?" Wan'er said, feeling wronged. "Traveling thousands of miles, crossing mountains and rivers?" Dugu expression became even more solemn. This sentence revealed a lot of information. This woman was not from the Molo dynasty, and the fact that she was able to travel thousands of miles to come here proved that there was an extremely powerful force behind her, and her background was definitely extraordinary. Most importantly, listening to the meaning of this sentence, this woman had come to find him. All kinds of speculations were churning in Dugu mind. Perhaps even Wana herself didn't think that with just one sentence, Dugu Chioemo could deduce so much information. Or you? Dugu Chioemo asked straightforwardly. Which Wana, have you heard of me? Wana smiled sweetly. No. Dugu Chioemo shook his head. He didn't travel in the South Horizon region, and his real body, Yiguchen, didn't know much about her. Wana almost staggered and fell. In the South Horizon region, she was famous for her beauty, but Dugu Chioemo had never heard of her. I am a member of the Demon Extermination Sect. You have heard of the Demon Extermination Sect, right? Wana didn't hide it and said straightforwardly. One of the 3 great sects of the South Horizon region, presumably all the peddlers knew about it. Demon Extermination Sect. Dugu Chioemo raised his eyebrows slightly. This was somewhat out of his expectations. He didn't think that this woman called Wana actually had such a shocking origin. None of the geniuses of the Overlord forces were easy to deal with. Dugu Chioemo's expression became even more solemn. Of course, he didn't forget. In the Demon Extermination Sect, there was a cultivation method that was very suitable for him to cultivate. It was the founder of the Demon Extermination Sect, the World Extermination Demon Venerable's own origin cultivation method, the Demon Extermination Heart Sutra. Dugu Chioemo had always kept this matter in his heart. From your tone, your target seems to be me? Dugu Chioemo's gaze fell on the glowing demon bead in Wana's hand, and said lightly. To be precise, what Wana is looking for is the person who triggered the Demon Emperor's descent to the 9th heaven phenomenon. Wana finished speaking, and her charming eyes stared straight at Dugu Chioemo. That blazing gaze seemed to want to melt Dugu Chioemo, as expected. Dugu Chioemo thought to himself. If there was anything that Wana was interested in, it was probably the heaven ferocious fate and the Demon Emperor's descent to the 9th heaven. It seems that you've already determined that I'm the person who triggered the Demon Emperor's descent to the 9th heaven phenomenon? Dugu Chioemo asked lightly. More or less. The demon bead won't lie. Wana held up the demon bead and smiled. This was because the founder of the Demon Extermination Sect, the World Extermination Demon Venerable, was the person who triggered the Demon Emperor's descent to the 9th heaven phenomenon. Therefore, there was a treasure in the Demon Extermination Sect that could guide the person who triggered the Demon Emperor's descent to the 9th heaven phenomenon. It was the demon bead in the witch's hand. It was also because of this that the witch was certain that the person who triggered the Demon Emperor's descent to the Mola dynasty. I am indeed the person who triggered the Demon Emperor's descent to the 9th heaven phenomenon, so what do you want? Since he had already confirmed it, Dugu Chioemo might as well admit it. He wanted to know where the Demon Extermination Sect stood. If the Demon Extermination Sect wanted to harm him, Dugu Chioemo would make sure Wana remained in the path of cultivation forever, even if he had to pay the price. Wana seemed to have sensed the murderous intent in Dugu Chioemo's eyes. Wana put on a sad expression and said, I helped you before. Do you want to kill me? Tell me? Dugu Chioemo looked puzzled. This was the first time he and Wana had met. When had Wana helped him? Wana stopped Yuan Hua in his tracks. Wana said. Dugu Chioemo suddenly understood and said, although it wasn't necessary, I owe you a favor. Tell me, what's your purpose? Since Wana was showing goodwill to him, Dugu Chioemo wouldn't make enemies for nothing. It's very simple. I hope you can join the Demon Extermination Sect, Wana said. Dugu Chioemo's expression didn't change much. Instead he asked, why? Because you're a Demon Emperor phenomenon. Only the Demon Extermination Sect can nurture you better. If you can grow up smoothly, it's not impossible for you to become the Demon Extermination Sect's young master. Wana's tone was charming and had a hint of persuasion. I don't think it's that simple. Dugu Chioemo smiled coldly. He never believed in such benefits that fell from the sky. Of course, the Demon Extermination Sect's internal strife is very intense. But you're different. You're a Demon Emperor phenomenon. You can cultivate the Demon Extermination Heart Sutra to perfection. You're the most likely to succeed, Wana said. Oh, it seems that the Demon Extermination Sect's situation isn't too good either, Dugu Chioemo said meaningfully. There was probably a big problem inside the Demon Extermination Sect. Otherwise, Wanner wouldn't have traveled thousands of miles to find him, a demon emperor phenomenon. Wanner bit her lips slightly and said, "You're right. But I'm afraid you have another reason to join forces with me." "Oh, what's the reason?" Dugu Chioimo asked. "Because someone wants to kill you before you grow up," Wanner said. "Who dares?" Dugu Chioimo smiled coldly. His personality was arrogant and unruly. He was not afraid of the heavens or the earth. Anyone who wanted to kill him had to be prepared to be killed first. "Itsangyue, Gu Xiaoyang." Wanner said word by word. "What?" When he heard Gu Xiaoyang's name, Dugu Chiomo's expression suddenly changed. His killing intent surged and shook the heavens. Heaven and earth had turned blood red because of this intense killing intent. Chapter 1180. The name, Gu Xiaoyang, completely triggered Dugu Chioma's nerves. Although he had never seen Gu Xiaoyang before, as a clone of Yi Guqin, his hatred and murderous intent towards Gu Xiaoyang was no less than that of Yi Guqin himself. Dugu Chioma finally knew that the two familiar auras he felt outside the Azura Bloody Road were from Yi Tsangyue and Gu Xiaoyang. Wana was surprised when she felt Dugu Chioma's uncontrollable murderous intent. Why was his reaction so big when he heard that someone wanted to kill him? She looked at Dugu Chioma meaningfully and said, "What's wrong? Does Mr. Dugu have a feud with these two?" "No, I'm just a little upset when I heard that someone wanted to kill me." Dugu Chioma controlled his mind and calmed down. He could not tell Wanner about Yi Guqin for the time being. Who knew if Wanner was sincere or not? Wanner nodded and did not dwell on it. "Why does Yi Tsangyue want to kill me?" Dugu Chioma asked. He did not ask about Gu Xiaoyang. There was no need to ask. Their feud was already irreconcilable. However, Dugu Chioma was surprised by Yi Tsangyue. She doesn't want you to join the demonic sect. She doesn't want the demonic sect to have another big devil. Sister Tsangyue is such a white lotus. Wanner giggled. Dugu Chioma frowned slightly and pondered. He knew that Yi Tsangyue had the immortal divine embryo, which could fuse with Yi Guqin's innate sword embryo to form a powerful innate indestructible sword embryo. In this way, he could not kill Yi Tsangyue directly. Wanner looked at Dugu Chioma pondering and misunderstood. She thought that Dugu Chioma might have some thoughts about Yi Tsangyue. She smiled charmingly and said, "What's wrong? Have you fallen for Sister Tsangyu?" But then again, Sister Tsangyu is known as a fairy and her beauty is known far and wide. Even one of the 10 young masters, Gu Xiaoyang, is willing to prostrate himself before her. Gu Xiaoyang? Who does he think he is? Dugu Chioimo sneered. Then he asked, "So, what's your next plan?" Wanner said seriously, "If Wanner's guess is correct, the two of them are also in the Azura Blood Road. Moreover, they might be waiting in the depths for the fish to take the bait. To be honest, whether it's one or you, young Master Dugu, you definitely can't deal with the two of them alone. It's very likely that you'll be suppressed and killed instead. So, the only way is for us to work together." Wanner's meaning was simple. She and Dugu Chioma joined forces to deal with Yi Tsangyue and Gu Xiaoyang. Sure. Dugu Chioimo nodded without hesitation. Although he was arrogant and unruly, he was not a brainless person. With his current strength, it would not be too much of a problem for him to deal with one of them alone. However, it was beyond his power to deal with two of them at the same time. As expected of a demonic emperor phenomenon. Simple and straightforward. "Then I wish us victory." Wanner smiled sweetly and extended her slender hand. Dugu Chioimo extended his hand indifferently. Wanner's hand was small and delicate, soft and boneless. It was very comfortable to touch. However, Dugu Chioimo did not linger. Just as he was about to withdraw his hand, Wanner grabbed it. "Do you want to have a fated marriage?" Wanner smiled ambiguously. "With you?" Dugu Chioimo sneered. "You're thinking too much." Wanner blushed slightly under her black veil. How could this devilishly charming young man be more flirtatious than her? Of course it's Sister Tsangyue. Wouldn't it be a wonderful story of a fairy and a demon king? Wanner said mischievously. "We'll talk about it when the time comes." Duguchiomo did not mind. He did not care much about the matters between men and women. Wana stuck out her tongue. She already started scheming in her heart. In the following time, Wana and Duguchiomo headed towards the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. Not just them, the remaining surviving martial artists also rushed towards the deepest part together. At the beginning, there were several tens of thousands of martial artists who entered the Azura Blood Road. Now, the number was less than several thousand. It could be seen how tragic and cruel the Azura Blood Road was. Another day passed. Duguchiomo and Wana also finally arrived at the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. Saying it was the deepest part was actually because there was already no path to go. Because ahead was a sea. Accurately speaking, it was a blood-colored sea. Blood waves surged to the sky, without an end. The Azura Blood Road came to an end here. Could that be a large-scale Azura blood pool? Duguchiomo said in surprise. However, this could no longer be called a blood pool. It should be called the Azura Blood Sea. Looks like this place should be the birthplace of the Azura blood. However, where is that supreme powerhouse's inheritance? Duguchiomo frowned, pondering. He discovered that at the periphery of this Azura Blood Sea, there were already many martial artists' figures appearing. But they were all very strange. They did not go to the edge of the Azura Blood Sea to obtain the Azura blood. Duguchiomo casually grabbed a person and asked. When that person saw Duguchiomo, he said while trembling with fear, because inside this blood sea, there seems to be some power. The people who went to collect the Azura blood previously were all directly swallowed up by the blood waves. So, that's how it is. Duguchiomo Ming let that person go. That person hurriedly ran far away, as if Duguchiomo was the death god. Am I so scary? Duguchiomo asked. Of course. Now, everyone in the Azura Blood Road knows that you killed Master Hun Demon and dug out his eyes. You're just like an Azura from hell, Wana said with a smile. Killing Master Hun Demon, who was ranked 4th on the blood ranking, made Duguchiomo infamous. Plus, many people witnessed it with their own eyes, so the authenticity of the news also skyrocketed. Many people's eyes quietly fell on Duguchiomo. Their eyes were filled with surprise. Just as Duguchiomo was thinking about how to collect the Azura blood, another beautiful figure swept over from the distant sky. Gray hair, tall, graceful, and sexy figure. It was Princess Luoho. She bit her red lips with her pearly white teeth. Her beautiful eyes under the mask had a hint of coldness as she stared at Duguchiomo. It's Princess Luoho. But why is she staring at Duguchiomo? Many martial artists noticed it. The young Master Dugu, it seems that your luck with women is not bad, Wana said from the side. Duguchiomo smiled indifferently and said to Princess Luoho, Your Highness, I trust you have been well since we last met. Princess Luoho just snorted coldly. She didn't know why, but when she saw the charming woman in black standing beside Duguchiomo, she had a very unpleasant feeling in her heart. Not long after, a figure wearing a hood and holding a white bone staff arrived. It was the Heaven Witchcraft Godchild. He stayed far away from Duguchiomo, not daring to get close because he was really afraid of Duguchiomo unless it was necessary. The Heaven Witchcraft Godchild would never provoke Duguchiomo again. Duguchiomo didn't care. In his eyes, the Heaven Witchcraft Godchild was just a relatively large ant. Then, another figure appeared in the distance. He was dressed in black and had a head of black hair. He walked over slowly with a sword in his hand that was still stained with blood. He was slowly wiping it with a white cloth. He had a handsome appearance and a pair of eyes as deep as the night. At this moment, he swept his gaze across the crowd and smiled faintly. Everyone is here. This person was the number 1 on the blood ranking, Yi Zongshan. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.